Well, hello everyone, and welcome once again to episode 76 of the Yorkshire Gamers A Reet Big War Games podcast. And today is the hangover from episode 74, the Brews in the Binyard. And we received 72 questions for the Brews in the Binyard. We usually do the Ask Our Nora questions at the end. But unfortunately, we'd done 3.5 hours already and we were getting a bit tired, so we decided to record a separate edition. So if you do enjoy Brews in the Binyard, then you're going to get 3 episodes this year, summer, Christmas, and this bonus in inverted commas episode with the questions in that's coming up very shortly. If you don't like Brews of the Binyard, then it's a bit of a disaster, really, because you are not getting a normal, in inverted commas, podcast this time round. So, quick disclaimer before it starts. If you haven't listened to the Yorkshire Gamer podcast before, this is a subset podcast, a slightly different format to the usual, more in inverted commas, sensible podcasts. So it's me, Alex Sutherland, and Ian McDonald, and we are just chewing the fat about the wargaming hobby. And in this particular one, the medium for that is questions from the audience. So thank you for sending questions in. If you did, we had a lot. We had to skip over a few that we'd maybe done before on other podcasts, but I think I did mention everybody who sent a question in. So thank you for that. It does help this show move on very quickly. At the start, we do have a quick chat. Well, about an hour chat about other things and developments that have happened since the last Brews in the Binyard, which was only a couple of weeks ago. So we have managed to pull up a few routes since that time. So tune in for that at the start, and then it's on to the questions shortly afterwards. If you haven't already, then episode 75 is proving very popular with Ken Hanning. And Ken is a long-time wargamer, used to live and work in the Leeds area, and is also a former member of the Leeds Wargames Club. We're talking in his episode a lot about wargaming positivity because he has been diagnosed with cancer on I think 2 or 3 occasions, and he has been really helped and supported by the War Games community. So it's a serious topic, but Ken is a lovely lad, and we both wanted to do that episode just to kind of give a little bit of hope to people who are either going through it themselves or have people they know who have cancer as well, because it is a very common thing, and a lot of us, unfortunately, are going to have to go through it. So we both thought that maybe trying to talk a bit of positivity around it might, in some tiny way, help a little bit. So that's why we did it, and a lot of people are giving us some positive feedback. So thank you very much for that. So sit down in a darkened room somewhere. Make sure no kids are listening. Make sure that your granny isn't listening. Although, to be fair, most grannies swear more than we did. So get yourself a brew. Get yourself a nice, lovely Drake and Macefield steak and ale pie. And without further ado, here's the interview. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to podcast 76. This is the held over questions from the Brews in the Binyard. I think it was a couple of 3 weeks ago that we spoke to each other last time, and not a lot's happened since then. Nobody's released any videos that have caused controversy or anything along those lines. So we obviously haven't got anything to talk about in this first bit.
No.
But there we go. So it just leaves me as you know who's here. He's already said hello. Alex Sutherland, the face of Hendos. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you very much. Even though I don't live in Sheffield, despite that's what everybody thinks, I was called Sheffield's finest the other day. I've never been more insulted in my life.
I did say that. I thought
I'm from Rotherham, not Sheffield.
I could see the trail of the missile coming up from Rotherham.
You know what it's like. You're from Yorkshire, Kenner. You know what it's like. You know, we have rivalries between villages. Never mind towns and cities. You know, that's even worse. We go to war over less here in Yorkshire. I was very upset about that. It took me days to settle down and get over it. But all good here. All good here as answer.
It's like when I say Pudsey, and people we mentioned this before, and I say, they say, like the bear. No, fuck off, Pudsey Bear.
It's all people know it for, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Or I've ever heard of it.
One-eyed furry twat.
Speaking of furry twats, not those kind.
That's not my introduction, is it?
I'll leave that hanging. But you said nothing's happened. Well, we just went to pick Tiny up. Some of my viewers might be interested in this. Your little Tiny has been sick for the last few days, and the little bleeder has just cost us £1,400 because she was in the vet for a couple of days. It's all right. She's insured. And the good news is she is better. So she's not been on videos for the last week or so just because she's been a little bit ill. But yes, she is a furry little twat, and she's cost us quite a lot of money, which would have been a holiday. Twat. Yes, bless her. So that's the thing that's been going on for me, Ken.
Oh, excellent!
Now the rest of the good news.
Representing north of the border is our good mate Ian from Flags of War, who's we're not going to say what we were talking about before we started filming, but he's been on. He went off on one earlier on. You think
quite libelous, I think, as well.
Yeah. You think you call me the angry one?
I know. Thanks for having us again. North of the wall. It's raining as usual. Nice July weather here.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't got a song or anything. I have done the Christmas song already.
You have?
I have. Great. It just came to me. It is good. It's fucking good. It is really
something
good.
to look forward to, I guess.
Please don't ask us to sing with you.
No, you don't need to sing.
Do it like the Band-Aid. Like it's all singing together.
Which one's Bono?
Oh dear me. Anyway, I just want to tell a little story then before we start, because I was on holiday in Ireland last week. Had a wonderful time. We went to see an American guitarist called Joe Bonamassa. I'm wearing a t-shirt now. And he was playing a tribute to Rory Gallagher. And Rory Gallagher was one of my heroes when I was a child. One of the best guitarists I've ever seen live. So we had an absolutely fantastic time, but that's not the story. I had a big Irish breakfast, and we were wandering around town, and I needed to use the gents. So I go up into the gents, and I'm sat in the cubicle minding my own business. And then the next thing I hear is the cubicle next to me open, and a little bit of singing. And I thought he's got a decent voice, that lad. Next thing, I'm just taking my trousers down, undoing my belt.
Where is this going?
I'm sitting down on the loo.
I'm the right podcast.
What the fuck is this guy on?
Were you on acid?
And then I'm already giggling. And then he goes, and there goes the little fella. Splash.
What the hell?
I just fucking creased over. I nearly lost it. Anyway, to the singing Irish toilet man, you made me laugh.
Brilliant.
Mate. You made me laugh. That was really.
That's Ireland for you all over.
Oh dear me, Ian, you've been on holiday, mate, with your kids. Where were you off?
Wasn't really a holiday, but I was in Tenerife with the family for a week. Unfortunately, I had to take the kids with us.
That's why it wasn't a holiday, is it?
Yeah, they had fun. They enjoy it, but they don't allow you to enjoy what you want to do in a holiday. Really,
Yeah.
you want to sit down and eat something. They have ate like one chicken nugget, and that's it. They're ready to go run about again. You're like, I've not ate anything. Yeah,
should have left them at home cutting out flags and
packing
doing
orders and
orders.
things.
Yeah,
try to read a book at the side of the pool with a beer, and they want me to come in and throw a ball and stuff.
Kids, God, dear me, dear me.
Nah, they had fun. They had fun. It was good. It was really warm. It was getting warmer every single day that we were there because Spain was about to get hit with that Saharan heat wave that was moving over. So we were kind of getting a little bit of it, and then it was good.
Excellent.
Straight back to work.
Yeah, I've got that shit tomorrow. Yeah, so let's see if I'm still there on Tuesday. We'll give it a go. Alex, mate, you've been busy. Your podcast with Jared that we talked about last time has come out. I've not had a chance to listen to it, mate, but that's out to the world.
Yeah. It was an interesting experience. It was good. We said we'd do a second one. We just haven't set up a day for it because we talked a lot about First World War wargaming.
America.
But Jared has he's got a master's degree in it as well, and he's also so he knows his stuff. So we were kind of chatting about that quite a bit, and then so we kind of want to do a bit of a deep dive into that and talking about it, from a wargaming point of view. Like I said, we just haven't set up a date for it yet. But I've not listened back to it. I've never listened back to any of the podcasts I'm on. Or very, very
good idea
very,
with this one.
Sorry, very, very rarely I do. So I don't know how it's gone down. But interestingly, over the last few days since it was released, there's been a massive. I say massive. There's been about 10 new people that's joined the Through the Mud and the Blood Too Far Lardy's group because I'm the admin for that. I set that up a few years ago, and it's kind of not languished, but it's kind of it's reached a peak of people interest because it's an old set of rules. But a load of people have just joined it recently. Had an influx of people coming, so I'm assuming it's off the back of the podcast. Nice. So that's nice. Yeah, it's nice to see when you do something that something reacts to it.
Yeah, very good indeed. Very good indeed. I should have checked at the start. Really, are you two okay to be on a podcast with me after the War Games magazine video?
They're entirely your.
Yeah,
that's all of your opinions, Kenny. Just because we're here doesn't mean to say we share them.
It's fair enough.
That's the thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, I like those magazines. You might not do, but I do. But it was interesting. To be honest, it was interesting, wasn't it? At the back end of it, when you said you went through the War Games Illustrated, and it turns out that there is actually about as much historical stuff in it as there is in the other ones.
In that one,
definitely.
I've got the Robin Hood cover one over there.
Yeah.
That
might be a bit different.
That is dreadful. That is considerably worse. But I have to say that apart from 6 dickheads, it was overwhelmingly positive. And although it was, I did it very tongue in cheek, and I did it very much as a character, which kind of people just didn't fucking get because they're all down in the fucking ones. But it was supposed to be, and so I had
they're not playing Chain of Command, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. They're playing 1 hour. They're playing 1 hour war games and going, "Ooh, this is a bit tough."
Level ones.
Yeah, there was a couple of people who complained about me swearing, so they can fuck off.
God, it's 2025. Wait, did they have not been on the internet?
Yeah, I did say to one of them, "Oh my God, I'll be wearing a tie that's lighter than my shirt, or wearing a hat indoors next."
Yeah.
It's just dreadful etiquette. And then of the 6 people who complained, 2 of them were regular contributors to War Games Illustrated, and one of which I've had a run in with the past. So really,
there was already bad blood there, was there? Anyway,
yeah. It's pistols at dawn. I think to be fair, I have done quite a bit of proper fencing in my life, so I'd choose swords, and I think I'd be quite confident for the victory. But I think a lot of quite positive things came out of it. In that a lot of people kind of said the same thing, and WSS War Game Soldiers and Strategy really came out of it positively, despite some of the authors that they use.
Me is talking about that again. Again, the listeners won't be able to see this, but he's pointing at me right now or nodding at me.
Well, you know how I always say that I never script anything. Well, I honestly hadn't looked through that magazine because I wanted like a genuine reaction to stuff.
Right.
So I kind of start off. Oh, and here's an article on World War II. Oh, it's historical, and I can see we've got this. It's like, oh fuck, Alex has written it. What am I going to say? But it did turn out to be a good article, and I was quite nice about it.
Oh, well, thank you, Ken. Thank you.
So yeah, that did really well. Guy Bowers, the editor, he's commented on stuff. He's been quite positive about it, talking about the feedback that it's got, and I think that was really good. I think that was really good.
I think, to be honest, I mean, obviously it's going to depend on which issue of those particular magazines you pick up. But WSS, I subscribe to it because it is largely historical. It's at least 90%, and also I like the pieces that people write in it as well, the opinion pieces and stuff. Yeah. Again, like you said, I don't always agree with what they say, but I like to read different opinions on things. I'm not so fussed about. I think I stopped getting miniature war games years ago, a long time ago, and I just never picked it up again. And I stopped. Never really bought into War Games Illustrated anyway. But then it did become like an advert for Flames of War, and I know it isn't now.
Yeah, isn't
but so it's kind of.
Like
they stopped. They picked it up and they published it for a long time, didn't they? And I know it isn't now because I've been down to War Games Illustrated HQ with James Morris. But again, it's just not a magazine that I pick up because it has. There's probably not much in it that interests me, really. I think so. I'll buy the one that I'm in when James Morris writes his article about the games that we played. But apart from that, I'm probably like you, Ken. I think
How'd you get into the magazines? I don't know.
Be nice to them.
Oh, do you mean as pictures and things?
After that video, I'm not getting in them anyway.
No,
so.
definitely not.
Fuck all now, yeah. Absolutely nothing.
But overall, though, I'm just going to say, I mean, I think those magazines still have a place.
Oh, I do as well.
They still have a place within wargaming, and it is nice just to get that monthly magazine or bi-monthly magazine and just sit and just flick through it. Sit in bed and just go through and just have a look at all the articles, and then go back and read some of the bits that you've missed. It's very different to looking at it on a screen or watching a video or anything else, or even listening to podcasts and stuff. It's just a completely different experience. So I think long may they go, and I hope that people are still buying them, even if it's not something that I buy particularly.
So do I, and there was no
diplomatic political answer there.
Yeah, no, and. People there are people out there who just aren't going to get my sense of humour, and I understand that. I get it. If the moment you try and be funny on anything, somebody's going to get offended. That's fine. I can live with it.
Oh yeah.
But I want them to survive. I'm amazed we've still got 3.
Yeah.
And I think, like I say, WSS came out best by a long way. Miniature War Games, they're honest about what they're doing. They've got that split in the middle. Weird stuff, historical stuff, and they do have some good articles in there.
Yeah,
fair enough, no problems at all. And John Treadway commented on it, and he was fair enough, no problems at all. And then we come to the other one, and I'm concerned for it. I'm honestly, if it's like I've got 3 children and one's got pneumonia, and that's the one I'm concerned for. The other 2 were doing fine, driving Ian mad round the fucking pool. But the other one is like tiny. It's not very well.
Cost us a lot of money.
It needs 2 days in the vet and 1,400 fucking quid to sort it out. But there were a number of things that everybody said, and this isn't me talking. This is, I think there was nearly 300 comments on YouTube, a couple of hundred comments on Facebook. So this isn't like a tiny sliver. This is a fucking big sample. Nobody likes the front covers that look like AI. Apparently, they're not AI. They're done by an artist, and they're not accurate. I'm not going to go on about the one that I went on about, but there are other ones that just aren't accurate, and that's not difficult to get right. People want Wargames figures on the front of a Wargames magazine. Is that too much to ask? I don't think so. Maybe they might pay somebody for a photograph. Then
let it go.
Let it go.
Well, WSS always do miniatures in the front of theirs, don't they?
They do, and then they talk about, they have a page, don't they, talking about how it was put together and how it was painted and how it's photographed and stuff. I think that's quite nice as well. It's quite a nice little feature.
Yeah,
even if you're not interested in the thing. Yeah. Okay.
Then they're always trying to sell you something. Is a feeling that a lot of people get. It's something I said, but a lot of people kind of echoed that and said they're just trying to sell me something. And they always feature their own rules and their own rules writers. And I think that should be. And I shouldn't think that should be labelled as an advertorial. Fine, if you're going to do it, no problems at all. I get it. You're publicising your own stuff, but I'm sure legally you're supposed to say that.
But the thing is, I mean, with these magazines, they are open to people pitching articles. I mean, that's how I got mine. I just contacted a guy and just said, I've got some ideas for articles. All you need to do is write, 200-page synopsis, a 200-word synopsis, not 200 pages. And
that's a
just
fucking big synopsis.
I was going to say, that's a volume. And then just send that in. They say yay or nay, and they are they're always desperate for people to contribute to these things. And on the other hand, you also get paid for it as well. You get paid by the word, and it's quite it's a good sum of money. It's nothing to be sniffed at. There's a lot of people out there who complain about these things, but there's also a lot of people out there who won't put pen to paper and send in their ideas. And you can do it quite easily. This is why the same people get published all the time, because they know they're already in they know they're a known quantity. If you can get more people in to write more different articles, then you'll get a wider spread of things that you like.
Yeah, I think a couple of people said to me, "Why don't you write articles?" And the simple answer is because I do fucking 4-hour podcasts every 2 weeks, and I haven't got time to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we don't know what you think. One classic quote was just a wargamer who's read a book. Am I? Oh, right, okay. There's fucking 76 podcasts out there. There's over 250 hours of me talking bollocks. There's plenty of fucking room in that. Isn't there?
There is absolutely.
And I don't get paid for it. I don't do anything. It costs me about £300 a year to run this.
Certainly something to consider, Ken, because I certainly think I would like to hear more from you in terms of the games that you're playing. I think that's the biggest interest for me in terms of the magazines. It's the eye candy. And then along with finding out about the scenarios that somebody's playing. Well, that's sounds pretty good. And you've certainly done some games that would appeal in an article, I think.
Yeah, I think, exclusively revealed here. I'm in the process of doing an article, but I'm not doing it for the 3 magazines I've already pissed off. I'm doing it for my mate Lorenzo in Italy, Daddy and Piombo. I'm going to do it. I'm doing an article on Mentana and putting it together as a game and etc. So I might do in the future. I think it's just genuinely the spare time that I have outside of other hobby things is doing this podcast.
Of course. I mean, writing a 2,000-word article does take time, researching it, coming up with the ideas and putting it together. It's Can
I just stop you there, Alex? Did you say researching it?
Well, some do, some don't. Depends, really.
Oh dear!
But there's got to be, as you said, guys obviously commented, and I think these magazines need to understand that there has to be positives taken from the negatives, and some of these things, you you need to make the improvements. You need to make adjustments based on what your customers are wanting. And if some of them don't want to listen, it might be their failure. But maybe some of them will go, right, okay, maybe we need to get back to the drawing board after some of these comments and make positive changes and see how that goes, because maybe it's not working at the moment for them.
But again, that kind of goes back to my argument. I mean, you've got the same pool of people writing articles because nobody else is stepping up to do it. You know what I mean? That's the thing, and it's kind of like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because they can't. You know, if you can't attract more people to do more for the magazines themselves, then how do you get out of that circle you're already in? You know what I mean? And that's the difficulty, I think, is just attracting more names to write more things. I mean, I haven't pitched another article to WSS since that one that you highlighted, Ken, which is a couple of issues ago now, and I'd keep meaning to do it, so I just haven't got around to it. A bit like you, Ken, I'm a bit busy, doing other stuff as well. So they're kind of, you could say, well, they're losing out on another First World War article from me, but they're also losing out there a different voice as well, from the ones that are always in the magazines. So, here's a plea to listeners of Ken's podcast, just put a pitch in for something you want to see in a magazine, write the article.
It's
don't mention my name, though. Do not mention my name, because it won't get in.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, straight in the trash pile.
I was listening to the Yorkshire Gamer podcast, and I decided to
go on and burn. Get that out. delete.
Well, I actually had some positives from being on this show.
All right, yeah. Bloody hell.
No, it was that Big Ray was listening to it, and I'd mentioned about Broadside, and we needed those trees. And he sorted me out with a big box of the trees.
Brilliant.
Oh, fantastic.
I think Debris of War were cleaned out before the show even opened.
I saw him put a post on Debris of War that he was going to a show, and he was doing 60 trees, and that's it.
Yeah,
when they're gone,
that's how he does it. That's how he does it. So he was going to Broadside, and that was how I was like, oh, I'm needing these trees. I can't, because ultimately when you contact the guy to do trees for you, because he's done them for me in the past, he puts you on a waiting list. So it's like a year.
Right. Wow.
But it does these batches.
They must be really good trees.
They are. No, you never see. His trees are beautiful, man.
Yeah.
But he puts you on this waiting list, so you're waiting like a year to get these trees. But he does these batches for all the shows. So I'm like, but he doesn't come up to Partisan. If he was to come to Partisan, I'm like I'll buy loads of your trees. But he's like, no, I don't.
Well,
it's too far.
He'd be mobbed, wouldn't he?
He's like, it's too far.
I got my trees from Joe Bilton. I asked him to do them as a commission. So you might want to approach him, because the trees that I've got are fantastic.
I've got hundreds of trees now.
Oh, you've got them all now anyway. But well, anybody else out there? Wargamer Joe on Blue Sky. Contact him for trees.
Speaking of trees, when I went to because I don't go in the boot of my car. I'm interested in the pointy end and the engine, but I don't go in the boot because that's just an empty space in it. And I opened the boot up to put the suitcase in to go to Ireland, and fuck me, there's a massive box of Tree Fella stuff in there that I didn't know about. I contacted Andy, my mate who goes to shows with. He said, "Oh yeah, I put them in there on the way back home from Partisan." Oh right, well. He probably told me and I just forgot. So there's a shitload of walls and trees going to the Leeds War Games Club on Wednesday that I've suddenly found.
Nice.
They put my suitcase on top of them; they were nearly flat. But there we go. So yes, it's been a joyful few weeks with that. And at one stage it was just mad. It was just comments were just coming bang, 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 and I always try and keep up with them. And I struggled a bit with this, and the kind of the World Cup slipped off a little bit. And I've also had
the results.
The results. What's going on?
Every single one of your teams pumped it.
I think last year and the year before, I managed to get one through. So next year with the rules, the seeds are the 8 quarterfinalists, so it's got fuck all to do with me anymore.
You're like officially like the old man just howling at a moon, and not everyone else going, "This guy's all about," because no one's agreeing.
This fella? The world has moved on, Ken. You'll be left behind.
A few people have said that in the comments, but who's had 200,000 downloads on the podcast? Them or me? They all tune in. It's like in the Victorian times when they had the circus freaks. They come in to look at you, don't they, when you're not quite all there.
Yeah, and poke you with a stick.
And that's kind of what it's like. We'll talk. The World Cup is now. The quarterfinals are going to start tomorrow, so the quarterfinals are probably done by the time this gets out. But like you say, this is my scribbled notes for round one, which you can't see on television. But television, fucking hell. Oh yeah, no, you couldn't see it on television anyway, could you?
No.
Anyway, no, because it's fucking audio podcast.
It's a podcast, yeah. They're generally audio, generally.
Generally, right. So there was only gamers who smell bad who got through. So the preliminary round, for those who don't remember, we voted for loads of stuff. Top 16 went through. Top 8 were the home teams. Next 8 were the away teams. And there's only smelly wargamers that got through from and knocked out display games who ignore the public. And I think that was because Americans don't have display games.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of confusion there about why
they
don't.
What was happening?
Yeah, they don't talk to people. That was kind of an Australian.
It was a bit of a very strange.
Yeah. Anyway, apologies to my people over there.
To Americans and Australians.
Yeah, and our king is available. Our king is available to come back as your monarch if you so wish.
You'll be getting a list.
Oh dear me. So slow players, doorstep bases, excessive game counters, maxing out point lists. That was yours, Alex. Those are criticised but don't do. Basing tanks, fucking hell. Display games ignoring the public, and table clutter got knocked out. And table clutter did the best with 37% of the vote in its contest. So what can I say?
It's interesting, isn't it? I was looking at the results of all the voting before as well, and it looks like you can almost tell what the final is going to be from the number of votes, can't you? The ones that have got the most. I mean, it's hard to tell because obviously when they're up against each other, things might swing. But I can't remember off the top of my head what they were. But I was looking and thinking,
No, it's like the whole list. Everything there was quite a little bit of an annoyance, but it's like what is more annoying. Because because it was like one of those ones you were going on. I think it was Smelly Gamers. It's like how many Smelly Gamers
Never seen
have you experienced? I've had a few, but it's like, and it's the same thing. Like how many cheaters? I don't know if I've ever really played against cheaters, but I know they annoy me really badly about if they were.
You generally play against them once, and then that's it, isn't it? It's like
that's it,
because you make a decision not to avoid them in future.
I'm not a competition gamer, so I have quite a small circle of people that I probably game with. So I tend to kind of mix it around with them rather than being exposed to something that would
But I'm not insulting the intelligence of my audience. Brackets again. It was clearly said. I clearly said pet hates, and to me, pet hates is that thing that drives you mad and everyone else finds funny, like the round dice thing. And everyone else goes, They're not that bad, Ken. But you can see. But we seem to have gone to a World Cup of actual hates, which is kind of where I wasn't going with it.
Stop being fun.
The good thing about it is I don't have to do this one again, because going back to rules, manufacturers, and then I need to think of another one in 4 years' time. We've already discussed possibles for that as well.
Periods.
periods. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's
that
a
you
good
can
one,
do.
isn't it? That's a good one. But I can probably tell you pretty much which it's going to be. It'll be World War II against Napoleonic at the end of the day, won't it? And I would have thought Napoleonic will probably win out just by a whisker. I would have thought.
And
But
then
that'll be my prediction.
And there'll be somebody on the fifth day of 6 of the preliminary round will go, the Third Polish Independence War of 1922.
Yeah, where's the War of Jenkins here?
Yeah.
I got knocked out years ago.
And then round 2, if I take Bradford City out of the equation, was one of the most disappointing things in my life, round 2, I have to say. All of my stuff got knocked out.
It's all gone.
People even
it just shows you, Ken. It just shows you obviously you're obviously easily wound up by very little things that nobody else cares about. That's simple.
Do people just download this and not listen to it? Because people are downloading it. That's a fact. I've got the numbers.
Look, the disclaimer was set at the start by Alex. We'll talk to you, we'll mix with you. We don't necessarily have to agree with you.
Absolutely. Or even like you.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I can live with it. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed for all the ex-servicemen out there who are not part of a faction, who fought for their country bravely against all odds in the midst of fire, machine guns, mortar rounds, and people are calling them factions, and you didn't vote for factions.
Unbelievable.
I'm let down. Unpainted flag edges got 53 more votes
than factions.
Factions. Home team 90, overly competitive gamers 397.
Well, again, I don't know. The thing is, with factions, it's something that comes up in rules, so you can kind of ignore it once you've read it.
Or don't play them.
Or don't play.
So you
them,
move
yeah.
it. You just move on.
Yeah, you just move on. Whereas
gamers,
I'm not moving on.
But unpainted flag edges, you see those for 3 hours when you're playing the game, or when they come up on photographs and things, and that's something that's right in your face that you can't avoid. So there's a difference there, isn't there? And I think I agree on that one. I hate the word factions because it is completely and utterly misused, and it has been for the last 4 years. But unpainted flag edges is so basic. It's like basing figures. You painted them to this beautiful standard, and you just have not finished off that last little stripe of white. Just paint it, for God's sake. I know you're upset there, Ken.
I am upset. I am very upset. I've seen factions twice this week. Once in a book that once in a book that I'm reviewing.
It's not for a magazine, is it?
Not now. Although I am gonna, it's a period of history I'm not massively well up on, so I might need to read up. I need to make sure that it hasn't been used in the correct context. I don't think it has.
I don't think it will have been, because faction is very specific. It means political, doesn't it? It's a very political. It's a smaller unit within a larger unit, isn't it? Yeah. All units of people.
Usually within a political party.
A smaller faction within the Labour Party kind of thing.
Yes, exactly.
Like backbenchers or something.
Yes, that would be a faction. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd just like to say goodbye for the competition to Round Dice. They got slaughtered 353 to 116 by rules with no index. But I can get that. Rules with no index, again, I think that is a bit of a
round dice. You just don't have to use them, do you? You don't have to buy them. You don't have to have them.
Well, they're there, Alex.
They exist.
We don't
just
have to
mere
have
existence.
We don't have to have chemical weapons, but they're there.
Is there a set of rules that actually use round dice?
I don't think there is.
No, they're just there. They just exist, don't they? Because I think they were probably developed in the 80s when everyone was trying to make as many different kinds of dice as you could, for D&D and things. And it was like, we could make this.
It sounds more like an RPG kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I've got one from the 80s.
Yeah.
I just bought it as a novelty. It's never ever worked. You can never tell what number it's rolled up. it rolls off the table more often than it ever actually stops on the table.
I just want to buy one to annoy Ken.
I've got one. I've shown it you.
Yeah. I've got it in my dice collection, like with an Enid Blyton Famous 5 dice as well.
Well,
there you go. That's it. Yeah.
See,
it's about the same size as mine.
See, I'm pretty sure one of the ones I seen was actually like a D100.
Oh, there is one out there.
Yeah, there's D100s. Again, that's same kind of thing. It was that.
That's actually got tiny little faces on it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's not exactly round. It looks round because it's so big and roundish.
It's edges.
Yeah. And being an engineer and knowing how difficult it is to get all the angles and all that right, so it's fair where it lies.
Oh no, he's impressed.
That's just
mind blowing.
Explosions. Then points battles 68. Rules lawyers 423.
Yeah.
Where are all these people who like points battles from?
Well, again, it's not that they like them; it's you're pitching them against the two, aren't you? It's like which do you dislike the most? If points battles was in a different category, then it may have scored more. But when you're given a binary choice,
well, you can put rules lawyers in a hot shed like River Kwai and leave them there for a couple of weeks. You can't do that with points battles.
Well, you could. You just don't play them. But
no, true.
And also, what other people could do is what I did is sign into my other Facebook account and just vote on that as well. If there were two choices that I couldn't.
Oh, not the burner account! Not the burner account.
No, it wasn't the burner account. It was the Storm of Steel account. So I voted as myself, and then I voted as Storm of Steel if I couldn't choose between the two. So
voting for both.
And I can't have been the only one, Ken.
No, that's true. They call it pairing in Parliament.
Yeah, rigged your vote for you there.
Ken's going to be paying for bots to make sure that his votes win next time.
Well, I have to say, I don't know if anyone noticed, but I did try and subtly influence the factions vote by putting like subliminal message, vote factions, subliminal message on everything, and it didn't fucking work at all. Unpainted flag edges. Put up a decent fight, 143 versus River Counters 346. Dice with unclear faces, 107. Oh, they drive me mad. Especially them Storm of Steel ones.
I don't use
Smelly Gamers 371. Only 48 people don't like Sabo bases.
Well, I don't think that many people use them. We talked about this before, didn't we? I use them for sharp practice, and that's
everywhere.
it.
Like
apart from that, I've barely seen them.
It's how you're pitching that, isn't it? So, as Alex says, I would play sharp practice, musket and tomahawks, those kind of games with Sabo bases. But I also agree with you in terms of if I was to see a mass unit with Sabo bases, I'd go, not too keen. But
yes, I wouldn't do it. Yes, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it with a large battalion, for example.
Like I did.
A skirmish game where they're a bit spread out.
Yeah, so I was playing muskets and tomahawks, and I wasn't using Sabo bases, and one of my friends came round to play it, and he's like, I fucking hate moving all these figures on their own. Got to get Sabo bases. So I went on to war bases and I bought a whole load of Sabo bases, and I've got them all here. I just painted hundreds up. Like, I'll keep them quiet.
Incomplete figure ranges beat Sabo bases, and incomplete figure ranges is one of my pet hates as well. So kind of that's the only that and no index in rules are the only kind of runners I've got left in the race. If you like.
Incomplete figure ranges, I think, is one of those things, isn't it? Because you're making a collection, and if you suddenly run out of things and you want that one thing and nobody does it, or that you're trying to buy all the same kind of figures, same sculptors figures or whatever. I understand why people get pissed off with that,
especially when you've sunk like a grand into World Turkish figures. And they never bring the cavalry out. It's like, if I spent 20 quid can live with it.
But again, to be fair to figure sculptors, I mean, I'm sure this is something that Ian could probably comment a bit more on. I mean, they're probably in demand everywhere, by people. So they're like Paul Higgs, for example. He does a bit of everything, doesn't he? So there's no way that he could do an entire figure range. He's only one man, and he's only one man that's producing, a certain amount of figures a day. And so it's difficult to fill those in, isn't it? Really, and that's the problem. It's a single point of failure, isn't it? Really, when you come into
I think it was Dave Benton who brought up about the cost of it and stuff like that. But the company that I'm talking about, it's 20 years. And they've bought 2 other companies in the last fucking year, so they're not short of money. They could do 6 Turkish cavalry. I mean, Ian's done bloody 6 Prince Charlie bodyguard.
Yeah.
What's going to sell more? Prince Charlie bodyguard or World War I Turkish cavalry? Actually, it's quite a close thing.
Yeah, it's a good question, really. Yeah, they're about the same, I think.
Especially with all the free advertising on here. Have you released them yet, Ian?
No, they're not sculpted yet. He's working on them just now.
Oh,
see, exactly. You haven't sculpted them yet. He's taking his, it takes time to do these things.
There's so many people out there.
It takes so much time for the sculpting. It's getting the time that the sculptor isn't working on something else. And
exactly that. Yeah. And that's it. And then you've got to check them as well, haven't you? And make sure that they're right. And then they've got to go off to the.
That's what's delayed the latest releases. I had to send them back as the Griffin were struggling to cast them, so I've had to take them and remove like an arm.
Oh yeah, I remember you saying,
so that they can be cast. But they've did it with one of my newer figures as well. But they contacted me beforehand and said, "Look, this figure's in a similar situation. What do you want to do?" And I was like, "Send it back." So it's went back to the sculptor. He'll remove the arm, but he'll make it in a way that it can be easily put back together.
So there again, that's him. That his time being taken up doing something he's already done, that he can't be doing something new. So it's understandable. Like Turkish cavalry, I mean, you can understand why these things happen.
But it was also the fact. It's a fact for companies as well. What I think might do well, what you think might do well, doesn't. No, you might want a couple of hundred of them, but that might be then it. No, I've never hidden for a fact that I did I did all the Jacobite stuff, and then I moved into the War Rushing Succession, and my Dutch don't really do much
get
because
them commissioned.
What do you mean?
I was saying, I can't get them commissioned if you only need 6 cavalry figures. Get them commissioned. Pay for them.
Yeah.
What's this flag behind me? Think I made the money.
Short arms, long pockets.
Bloody hell.
No,
I've just had a week in Ireland drinking. I've got no money left. I'm poor.
I thought the Dutch is a must for the range, and they don't really do much. Even though, and I don't know I don't know what the factor is. Whether people are not really wanting to game War Rushing Succession. It's probably not as popular as 7 Years War. I get that, but it's one of those things that the research of the Dutch was really hard. And what is actually crazy about it is they were like half the army. It was there. There was like 20,000 of them. But trying to find anything on them was really really hard. There's a lot known about them after like the 7 Years War, but that 1740s period is just like even like flags and stuff. I'd contacted the military museum in Amsterdam, and they're like, "Nope, we don't really know anything about the flags or anything." It's like, what's going on? It's just completely just written off that part of the history. But that happens, and that's similar to like there's only like if it goes like in a similar period for the British flags, there's not much known about them other than some. There's like a book that was King Louis did this book. It was about his trophies. And it kind of shows you some of the flags that were captured in that 1740s period. And that's kind of where so a lot of the flags I did for the Jacobites kind of based on this whole idea that it had on the colonel's arms and stuff. but that's a lot of conjecture. There's like
Yeah.
there's like a handful, if any, in existence that have been created or recorded, and there's not much known for them for that period. And then it gets to the 1750s, and it starts. The British Army starts to really organise itself and document what it is, and starts actually numbering regiments. That's when it all changes after like the period that I'm bloody interested in.
Always the way. Always the way.
Well, I think we'll need to make sure that everyone who listens to the podcast buys 6 Bonnie Prince Charlie bodyguard. we can have a Bonnie Prince Charlie bodyguard painting competition. I think.
I'll buy some. I'm not sure how they'll fit in with a 50mm First World War, but I'll make it happen.
Well, just just make them for Trench Crusade. You'll be fine.
Yeah, put some tufts on their head.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So, painting Portaloo, I was expecting that to go out, but because that really is my pet hate. 83 unpainted miniatures on the paint table, 340. Yeah, can I get that? Factions we've already talked about, and I'm not talking about it again. And then the final one, which I thought would be really close: competition games versus cheats. Competition games got 55, and cheats got 402.
Well,
where the fuck did that come from?
Again, I think this is the thing. I mean, a lot of people are happy to play competition games. I don't think us three are. But, competition games do make up a large part of the wargaming landscape.
A large part of this audience, though? I don't think so.
No, but that doesn't matter because it was an open vote, wasn't it? So people, and I'm not too sure. I'd say there's a lot of people who play competitions who do listen to you.
So a lot of the guys
wouldn't agree with you, but
I'm not upset them. Yeah,
shocked face.
A lot of the guys that go to like the Glasgow club, the Glasgow district one, a lot of them play like Art de la Guerre.
Yeah. Some of the lads at our club do as well. Yeah.
Like boy,
one
I
guy's
know
always
George.
doing DBA games.
Yeah, boy George, I think it's Art de la Guerre. It's one of the games, and he goes to like Ireland and all that to do these
it's quite a big
games.
scene actually.
Yeah, and you get things like Bolt Action. There's plenty of tournaments around Bolt Action, so you got Second World War tournaments. There's other bits and other ones you can join in quite easily. There's a lot of people that play like Warhammer tournaments and things like that as well, who also do historicals. I mean, so I can understand why.
Simon Miller's rules, they've got quite a big competition scene
yes,
as well.
They do. Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I've certainly seen him playing at the British game. The things, the one in Derby, isn't it? Not Derby, sorry, Nottingham. It was last year.
They've had
Leicester this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's Leicester.
They've had ones up here. What's his medieval ones? What's his ancient ones?
To the strongest.
To the strongest, yeah. They play. There's a big competition in Glasgow.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of people that will play them. I mean, friendly tournaments are still tournaments.
Well, I started this nearly 5 years ago with the sole intention to alienate various sections
everyone
of the wargaming community, and so far,
well, I think
it's worked.
It wasn't to alienate everyone; it was just to alienate Ken. Your sole intention was to alienate yourself from everyone.
Yes, from everyone else. Everyone else is still happy and playing and getting on with each other. It's just Ken on his own, sitting in his own little grumpy room.
Oh dear me. I enjoy what I do. I don't care. I just don't care. So that just leaves us with the quarterfinal draw, which is rules with no index versus cheats. I think cheats is going to win that.
Do you think?
Well, it's in voting patterns.
I suppose.
Cheats got 402. No index got 353 last time. So.
Perspective, it might be the day that you put the vote out. No, I would go index on that. It would annoy me. It's quite irritating. Cheats, again, I'm not exposed to them a lot, but the last round I went, they pissed me off. But when you then put it in perspective,
it's like we said, isn't it? It happens once and then you don't play with them again. whereas a rules with no index, you've got it once you bought it, you've got it forever, haven't you? Until you get rid of it. So you're kind of frustrated by that all the time. Whereas a cheat, you're frustrated by them once, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the difference, isn't it?
Interesting to see how people vote on it. It will be.
Yeah.
Matchup 2, which is kind of the antithesis of each other. Rivet counters and unpainted figures on the table. Could you get more polar opposites?
That will be an interesting one. I think
you'll find that those figures weren't grey.
It's a German faction from World War II. Of course, they're grey. It's a German Eastern Front faction. Because you can get a Western Front faction as well, and the North African faction.
Still recovering from that.
I think unpainted
stop
figures
winding
will
them up.
win on that one. Yeah, we still got the questions to do. God, we're already an hour into this.
I know.
Yeah, it's huge too. Anyway, round 3, smelly gamers versus incomplete figure ranges. I think smelly gamers.
I think. You think smelly gamers? Is that what you're saying? I think
smelly gamers and cheats just seem to have taken on a life of their own.
They have, but it depends on what they're against, doesn't it?
Yeah,
an incomplete figure range again. It's the frustration. It's the long-term frustration of not having the figures. Whereas a smelly gamer, you encounter them once and you go, right, well, they stink. I'm not going to play a game with them again. Or maybe someone drops subtle hints. But so that's an easier overcome than an incomplete figure range because there's little you can do about that.
Yeah,
that's my take on it. Anyway, that's my thought.
Yeah. And then the Paris Saint-Germain versus Barcelona. I mean, nothing to you, Alex, but me and Ian know what we're talking about. No idea. The big quarterfinal is rules lawyers versus overly competitive gamers.
This one, these ones are so close together, aren't there? There is almost like a Rizzler paper between the two of them.
Yes,
isn't there? I think in definitions anyway.
Before you dig yourself.
Well, the definition's set by Ken.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I was just about to say, if anybody puts a comment up on this and says they're the same thing, aren't they? Please include your home address so I can send you a present from my dog.
But that's what I said. There is a difference between them. They are similar, but there is a difference between the two of them.
They are.
So, but that's going to be an interesting one, I think, because of that, perceived similarity, and when people will say this is the same thing.
Yeah, I think if somebody's going to get stressed, that is the one.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to sign into both of my my accounts.
Oh. Use the burner. So the potential semi-finals would be no index in rules or cheats versus smelly gamers or incomplete figure ranges, and rules lawyers and over competitive gamers versus rivet counters or unpainted figures on the table. So
it's going to be interesting, I think.
OCP and cheats, which are the two big voters so far, the only time they can meet is in the final. And that's thanks to your draws, because I had nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Blaming massive.
So we're just talking about those brown envelopes you gave us. Right.
Mine had nothing in it. Did yours have something in there?
It were Yorkshire money, that.
The Frank Warners are the
Mine had a farthing. I cannot spend it anywhere. I don't know what to do with it.
So just before we finish off this first section, which is probably at least half an hour longer than I thought it was going to be already. The only thing that we did
have
talk
you not
about,
done this podcast before, Ken?
It's the joy of old age. I forget things.
Yeah.
It's like, did I do a podcast? I can't remember. Did I do a video on War Games magazines? Oh yeah, fucking everyone's told me I've done one.
That's why my phone's going mad.
My phone's going mad. Beep, 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 beep. Oh yeah, and to the person who said I'm a gatekeeper, you're knocking at the wrong fucking gate, mate. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So the only thing that we can talk about from our pre-match ramble was the chain of command situation, and I believe that there's a bit of a bit of a do. People, I mean, I don't know because I don't really, I don't follow it too closely. But I think you were saying that there's been a lot of hoo-ha on the Facebooks and the
Yeah,
stuff.
kind of. Ian brought this up, didn't you? Ian, pre
Yeah.
match when we were chatting, and there's been an awful lot of questions asked about the rules, and every day is a new question. Can X do X? And it seems like Richard has to jump in every time and say, "Well, let's have a look at what the rules say," and then literally read out the paragraph of the rules that answers the question.
Like Jack and
What
Odie.
it is,
bedtime stories. Just do these videos.
Let's have a look at what the rules say. Kind of Rich saying, "You fucking."
This is exactly what the rules say. It exactly tells you exactly what to do here. Here's the qualifiers. There you go. These are the exceptions. So
shocking.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. It's interesting because, again, to go back to what we were talking about, the chain of command has become very popular recently, hasn't it? And version 1 has been around for a long time. But version 2 is very new, and there's quite a lot of difference in it. And what I think it's done is attracted in a lot of new players who are probably more into other World War II games. Let's just say. And they have a different approach to gaming. So sometimes some people need everything laid out for them in the rules, whereas Too Fat Lardy stuff has always been a little bit about kind of if you come across an unexpected situation, work it out. And I think that's something that really happened in the older rules much more. They can, if you're used to every single situation being laid out in a set of rules, and you go to one of their older rule sets, you'll be scratching your head, because I know I did. But then once you kind of get the underlying idea behind it, the fact that these are, the earlier ones at least were sandbox games, and the rules were there to kind of help you create a narrative on the tabletop. And that's kind of what Chain of Command does, but it's a little bit more fixed these days because there were so many questions about Chain of Command 1, so Rich has tried to iron them out of it, but there's still enough ambiguity in there for somebody to turn it into a narrative game, but also for people to, look at it and go, oh, does this mean I can do this? There was somebody, let me just say this was a classic. Somebody had suggested that because units in Chain of Command have to be within 4 inches of each other, so the two teams within a section have to be within 4 inches of each other, does this mean that they can then spread out their crew from a machine gun and have a 4-inch between each of the figures of the crew to spread them all the way back to a replenish point, so that they don't have to move a figure back to the replenish point to use the replenish point? And you can see that, again, this goes back to that tournament mentality. It's like, right, there is a rule here that has been said, but you can see a way to break it, which is completely against the essence of the game and the idea. Because you can imagine like daisy chaining, a crew of a machine gun. You've got to think, would this happen in real life? No. Therefore, it wouldn't happen in this game, would it? And that's the thing that I think a lot of people are missing. And I don't know if it was done tongue-in-cheek. I don't know if it was done slightly cheekily or what.
Nah,
but it was
not.
an interesting thing.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think it's a strange concept for some of us, I think, in terms of rules. It's one of these things. Guys like Richard and that probably came up with these rules and written them and played them together with friends, and somebody's went, "Oh, that's a great set of rules. You should look at publishing them." So then you try and publish something, but you get pigeonholed into these ways of how you can publish a rule and make them accessible to other people, so you have to right, I need to bring in points, right, cool, do this, right, oh, I need these extra bits, so you can get these support lists and stuff, and it's kind of like one of the guys I know in game with he's a big bolt action gamer, but he's been moved, he's just played his first game of Chain of Command 2 there, and he was texting me and he was asking me, do you think this is a good list to play with? And I'm like, what? And it's like, he's like, look, I've got these supports to pick. Do you think I've picked good supports? I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like,
try him out, see what happens.
I think he was British Paras. I think he was British Paras.
Aye.
I think he was British Paras, and he had a Stuart tank or something, or he had a Sherman. And I was like, how the fuck did they drop that out of the sky? And he's like, what? And it's like, how did the Paras get that off the plane? And they're like, what? It's like, how would it even fit on a glider? And he's like, I'm pretty sure they would have got supports and stuff. And I'm like, hi, but is that how you? But for me, it's a strange concept, because I'm like, I don't want to game that. That's not the narrative I want to tell.
Yeah,
I don't have, because I remember a number of years ago we played a huge bolt action game at my club. And we did this scenario where the paratroopers dropped in at night, they took the town, and then the next day there was supports coming in to support them with the
narrative
tanks
supports.
and infantry. But to go, you've got paras and they've got a tank with them. What?
Yeah, it's not part of the campaign. Yes, this is not the first contact, is it? Yeah, there was somebody else that asked something similar. I'm trying to remember what it was now. It was that was it. They said, "Why would you play a British motor platoon?" Because it's quite small, it's quite brittle. You know, it's interesting, but then you also, the back of that is you get more points to add into it, and and this is something that doesn't even occur to me. It's like, why wouldn't I play it? I want to play it because I want to try it out, because they existed. I'm not playing to win. I'm playing to see what happens on the tabletop in the middle of the game. What is the narrative? What are they doing there? They were fighting in 1944-45. Use them. The question asking why would you use it kind of shows that mindset of I want to win kind of thing, and that's not what TFL stuff is about.
It's that difference in terms of I've played many games, and you build you buy figures, paint them before you've even looked at what kind of quality they are in the game. No, but you buy them. So I've played, like, I never hide from French Indian War, and they've brought provincials, and I remember playing a game with them and going, these guys are fucking shit. And they got absolutely obliterated, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, wish I'd known that before I'd done this. And I was like, oh God. But it's that difference. People will go, and it's kind of like, I don't know if they still do it, but Warlords used to do like lists on their box telling you how good they were. Okay. Like the points was on the box to tell you what the points were, so that people knew exactly what they were getting in terms of how that
kind of getting off the shelf. Like, it's like, right, that's 500 points. That's
but these guys are
pretty.
These are pretty good guys, so I'll buy them. Which is that whole different thing, because I'll definitely paint things just because I'm interested in it, and then understanding a lot of times there's probably rules. There's no rules for the things I actually want to paint, so I have to try and go away. Like I plan to play Chain of Command 2, but mine's is going to be my Irish War Independence range.
Right. Yeah.
There was a set of list that we brought out in one of the summer books. But other than that, there's not much, and it's not got exactly the list I'm wanting. So I'm still trying to come up with one.
To work your way through it.
But it's not necessarily a list; it's a platoon size. That's the kind of thing I'm after. No, how did they actually make up like a squad of auxiliaries? What kind of, how were they armed? More than how many points is it? I'm going, how were they armed?
Is it, or are they being used in competition style games then? I genuinely don't know.
No, I don't think so. I mean, you wouldn't be able to, I don't think.
Because these sound like competition questions.
Yeah, there's so many variables in the game itself, even from just rolling your command dice. You know, it's almost impossible to control. You know what's going to happen in the turn. It's like say for example, bolt action. You know, at some point, all your units, unless they've been destroyed in the turn, they will activate because there is a dice for those units in the bag. So, you know, you are optimizing your turn because you know it's just, you know, who's going to get the next turn. That's the next go. That's all. Chain of Command's very different in that because you're rolling those dice and they are a mix of numbers. You know, it's 1 to 6 and it could be anything. You've really got to think about, you know, your position of your leaders, your position of your units, all that kind of stuff before you even start to think about shooting at the enemy. You know, it's not like just with, like in bolt action, for example, where you might just pile forward, you know, a few units because you know you've got more dice in the bag than your enemy has. You know, your dice are more likely to come up. So yeah, from a competition point of view, I mean, God, you know, the TFL do not write competition games. They're meant to be unbalanced. You know, that's the point. It's real life isn't balanced. You know, it's balanced in as much as you have some supports, and that's it. You know,
and you can
and
see
even
that
then,
with the fact that we've got the Lardy days. They're not competitions. They're completely kind of.
It's a taster day for their rules, isn't it? You go and you play a game that you probably haven't played before, something you might want to play, or a period you haven't played before, and that's what it's all about. It's an introduction to their rules and their systems. And everybody who plays there, everybody who runs the games knows that. You know, you're not playing to win. You're playing for the laughs and they're always the tables that have got the most people laughing around them at shows as well.
Yeah, they're always. You know, I've done a few Lardy days, Steel Lard with you, Alex,
of course,
and it's always a good day out with a good big bunch of people. I've never seen anyone throwing dice or getting
upset about things.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I mean, I ran Algae pulls it off, and we mentioned this. I think it was both at Steel Lard and also at Lard Workshop. I can't remember which one it was. There was somebody who was kind of lagging behind a little bit. Their cards just weren't coming up because it's a card-driven game, so you pull out a card, you move your aircraft, and it just wasn't happening. And they were, you know, they just kept falling behind. So I just changed the cards. I took their cards out, put them on top. And I said to everybody else, if you don't like it, you know, go and play another game. But, you know, we're going to give them a chance and let them do something. They've not played this game before. Let them have. So it's like, you know, again, that's anathema to a tournament player. You know, you'd be counting like, you know, how many inches away you are and stuff. And, you know, did your dice roll or the cocked and stuff. But, you know, like you said, it's the narrative and it's about getting people involved and them having a laugh and enjoying the game. You know, and that's, you know, you can kind of twist it to that point, can't you, really?
Yeah. It's a huge big difference in terms of what you want from a game. I think back, I never went to Deep Fried Lard this year, or Deep Fried Derek, I think it was called this year. And they changed the name of it to Derek.
Yeah.
We used to run it
because he died.
Yeah, but when we did Deep Fried Lard last year, played one of the Napoleonic games. I try to remember who the boy that ran it. He's a big lardy guy, but he does. He's Australian. He ran the game, and it was sharp practice, and it was brilliant. And it had all these various characters that you could, and that they're not necessarily part of the actual rule book, but it was basically it would trigger if you came into the vicinity, it would trigger a certain event, and it was basically this there was a Spanish guy selling his dodgy Rioja. And all my troops ended up steaming. Like, what?
Exactly.
I've got a unit trying to march up the road, and there's this wee guy at the side of the road, and he sold us a bad batch of Rioja, and my whole unit ended up pissed. I was like, wow, what?
But you see, they're the stories that you take away, aren't they? That's the things you remember. You know,
I was meant to go and burn their church. The church never even got touched. Still standing to this day, man.
Dear me. Right, we'll draw under a line under section 1, and then we're going to be back in a minute when we're going to try and answer some questions. Well, welcome back, everyone. And if you're still here, congratulations.
Well done. God
well
almighty.
done.
I wish I wasn't.
And if you're looking for the swearing, I've done it all already.
Yeah.
I've decided.
Demonetised.
I've decided.
No advertising.
To be fair, I haven't been demonetised for a while. I think they used to go Brews of the Binyard demonetised. I didn't even listen to it, and now I think if you fucks the odd bollocks, it's all right now because I don't seem to be getting demonetised.
Is that a status that you guys see? I've never ever published anything, so I'm not too sure. Is that something
on YouTube? You do. On YouTube, you do.
Right.
You have advert. You choose the adverts and you choose what level of language you have. You can say like if there's naughty words in the first 10 seconds or if there's words throughout it. there's none in here at all whatsoever.
Nothing.
I try to keep my mind pretty clean because I do advertise on it, so I just tick all that there's no bad language on mine.
Well, that's in Glasgow. It's just normal language.
Oh yeah,
exactly. Yeah. It is up with us as well. I always forget one of my old bosses said the immortal sentence of the fucking fuckers have fucking fucked it. And apart from the start and the end, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That.
How many fucks can you get into one sentence and still make it? It's actually it's understandable as well. That's the other thing.
And it was totally in context because somebody
had fucked
outside of the organisation had broken something that they shouldn't have touched. So it was absolutely spot on. But there we go. So we are going to attempt some questions. And as we said in the last one, we had a lot. We had 70 odd questions. So
what were most of them like? What's your favourite battle? What's your favourite army? What's your favourite faction? What's your favourite dice? Round dice.
I don't read the first one out now.
So all of those mixed into one, is it?
Yeah. So,
couple
of caveats here. If you have submitted a question, thank you very much. We might not answer it or we might skip over it, but that's because we've done this 10 times now.
We reserve the right to berate you as well if it's a shit question.
Yeah. And if you're submitting questions to this show, you really know what we're about. And I'm not trying to upset anyone, like in the YouTube videos where I've upset 6 people out of 356. So if you are that 0.0000001% who's going to get upset, turn off now.
Just don't listen.
You're not going to need any chamomile tea. You're not going to need to lie down in a room with them bloody lights that flicker. You're going to need none of that because you haven't listened to it. So there you go. There's your warning. Right. So we'll flick through, and I think I'll read everyone's question out, but we'll just go. We've dealt with that. Because this one is the only question we've ever had from Threads.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know how Threads works. I still can't work it out. It just doesn't seem to flow in a logical order. And this is from Robert Solenthic. Proper pronunciation there. And unfortunately, it's a what's your favourite question. What's your favourite 19th century rule set and why? Alex don't play 19. Oh, yes, you do.
I do.
Napoleonics is 19th century.
Yeah, so it's going to be a toss-up between GDA2 and Blucher. Or Shell Practice. Here you go. Choose one of those 3.
There is actually a conversation I can get out of this one. Pickett's Charge, General Brigade.
Okay.
Ian?
I've got to say Sharp Practice because for me, I love the whole idea of Napoleonics, kind of put off by the whole grand scale of it. Mm-hmm. But my biggest avenue into Napoleonics is watching Sharp. So recreating that whole idea
on the tabletop,
is pretty much. And it goes back to that narrative gameplay, trying to tell a story.
Walking around going bastard. Bastard.
What was it? I've always wondered. I've always meant to ask Richard if he gets really annoyed by people calling it Sharp's Practice.
Yeah.
Because so many people do, and it's not Sharp's Practice. It's Sharp Practice. It's a word. It's a phrase. It's not a name of somebody. But yeah, everybody calls it Sharps practice.
War Games Atlantic are working on a set of rules called Sharps.
Yes, they are, aren't they? Yes, it's something about Sharp. Yeah, about Richard Sharp.
Well, you've mentioned them, War Games Atlantic. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've seen a thing today where they're bringing out World War II Romans, and I don't know whether it's
they're old.
Wind up.
No, they're old. Nah,
seriously, they're real.
They're real. That's an old set that they did with their Patreon.
Somebody has done First World War Vikings, so I'm not. Nothing surprises me anymore.
Do you remember the Who Wants to Be a Wargaming Millionaire game that we did a couple of shows ago? They're just copying that, aren't they? It's our idea, that.
Yeah. Should be getting paid for that.
That's right. We're on to X now.
So that's answered that one. Yeah, that's threads done.
Threads done. Stevie 111112. 1112. This is going to be a short
Catchy
one.
name.
What's the best figure scale for large Napoleonic battles? 28.
15 mil. Well, that's to be go on, Ian.
28.
I'd say, well, it depends, doesn't it? 28 mil looks great, but I've got 15 mil, so 2 camps there.
Easy one. Captain Sharp on X. We've had this before, so it'll be another quick one. What do you guys find the most efficient process for painting large amounts of figures in any scale? Batch painting.
Yeah, batch painting. Block colours, ink wash, highlights. Done. Next.
Boom. Sven Fulkerson on X. This feels like a confessional. It feels like the priest is leaning through the little mesh bit and going. He's leaning through the mesh, and the priest is saying, "Have you ever felt that your hobby commitments take up too much of your life? And if so, do you do anything about it?"
No.
Six Hail Caesars.
Yes and no. And no, I've never done anything about it.
I quite enjoy my hobby. I'd rather be hobbying than working.
Yeah, exactly. I do it because I enjoy it. But I also make sure I spend time with my wife as well and the cats.
Oh, do you have to do that?
Apparently.
I spent 4 days with her in Ireland. Isn't that enough for the year?
It's done. You're done.
It's like,
you're free.
I remember a couple of years ago when Rangers were relegated and they were put into the third division, and everybody went back to the games. So we all turned up and we're all season ticket holders, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's great to see you back. I didn't know if you were going to come back or not." And this old boy turned to me and says, "What was I going to do? Go to fucking IKEA?" It's like, you'd rather be here than in IKEA with the wife at the weekend. So I was like, fair enough. It's kind of like the hobby. It's like,
yeah. Second question from Sven. What material is best for basing terrain? Not tanks, because that would be ridiculous. That's Sven, not me.
Base for terrain. Well, that's like how long's a piece of string. It depends what the terrain is.
yeah.
You know, because if you're doing something like, I don't know, rocks, then with static grass on the outside of it. I do that with buildings, just static grass on the edge of it.
What base are we talking about with basing? Because I've just started basing some buildings, but I've been putting them on like 2mm MDF. Is that what we're talking about? I don't know.
Oh, right. I'll twist this thing, and we'll get a conversation from it. How thick does your MDF need to be before it doesn't warp?
Don't use it. Use plastic card.
Oh.
Don't warp at all. No warping.
You see, I've just putting together some movement trays for brigades for the Joy of Six.
Sabo bases, yeah?
No. Movement trays that you can get 6 battalions on.
Oh, okay, so they sound a little bit like a Sabo base.
Not 3 blokes, 6 battalions.
Is it a Sabo that goes on it? I think it is.
No. No. So it's a unit of figures.
For material, I use this stuff, which you will not be able to see, but it's you guys can see it, but it's AK Dark Earth diorama stuff, and it's like it's got a very thin sand in it, and you can put it on with a brush. There's different colours, and it's quite a big tub, and I use that, and then you've got it as well, Ian, and then static grass over the top of that. But yeah, MDF, I would probably at least, it depends how big the piece of MDF is, because that is going to really change it. The bigger it is, the thicker you need it.
That kind of thing.
Oh, there's the
something like that. You're probably 2 mil, but something smaller than
2 mil.
What you've got there.
I just buy A4 2 mil sheets on eBay.
But if you're doing it small, the smaller the base, the thinner you need your MDF.
Can I just recommend Hannant's laser supplies for MDF? It is unbelievably cheap.
Okay. And also, if you do get warping, just paint PVA glue and dilute PVA glue on the bottom of it. It'll warp back. You'll bend back in shape.
I tend to score the bottom of it. That helps as well on the ships that I do. But for these movement trays, which aren't Sabo bases, I forgot. I've just realised now that the one that I've done as a test, I didn't score the bottom of it, so I fucked it up myself. I've not followed my own instructions.
Oh well, PVA glue. You can still score it though, can't you? That should still work.
Yeah, I'll put something. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm going something thick and weighty on top of it.
That'll do.
I'll keep myself good there and not say it. Right. So Facebook, Chris Collins. How would you pitch the benefits of historical wargaming to a younger factiony audience that might be more familiar with the weird shit? It happened to me, and to be honest, it wasn't a question that had occurred to me before. The benefits seem self-evident.
For me, it's movies. That's always mine. I would be saying, look, is there any movies that you like, and try to recreate them? Because it's unless they're right into history, they're most likely not. In reading books and asking somebody what their favourite historical period might just fall on deaf ears, and they might be like, no, don't know, don't really have one. But if we were to go like a movie, I remember being young and seeing All Quiet on the Western Front and just going, oh wow, that would be awesome, and just try to recreate that kind of thing. Like there's a scene in it and it's all the French attacking and they're fighting back, and try to recreate that kind of scene as a kid with toy soldiers. It was always the biggest thing for me. And then things like Saving Private Ryan, going, that would be awesome to play as a game. That whole scene at the end, just surrounded and having to fight with so little men. And I think for me it would be movies. Do you have a favourite historical movie or a war movie that you think, oh, that I would love to game that? I think that would be a good avenue for somebody to get into historical war games, is try to replicate, because it's something that could spark a bit of a passion to then go on.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Short answer is basically Ian's already answered it. Yeah, I agree. It's something that's easy, isn't it? It's visual straight away. Films are exciting. You can recreate it on the tabletop easily enough.
And that's I go back to what I said with Sharp. That was, for me, it was what was the, I'm trying to remember what one it was, but it was he's got it's a French cavalry, and I know they're completely made up, but it was the wolf ones.
Oh yes, the wolf cavalry.
And I was like, I remember watching this, going fascinated by these guys. They've got all the wolf's tails on them, and going, that's
right.
And like, that would be awesome. And I still think about that and go, I would love to do a game like that, and attacking a small Spanish village and sharps having to defend off and stuff like that. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I would love. I think people would get an interest.
Yeah, bringing that narrative that we all enjoy in our own game to people, because a lot of people are coming from 40k and they've all got Imperatus Sanctum, the massive long list of Latin stuff, and they're all going about the Horus Heresy and the law and LORE, but they have that story element to it.
That's the thing, isn't it? You can introduce, real,
yeah.
in inverted commas, real history off the back of, like you say, or films and things. You can say, okay, right, now we've done the beach landings of Saving Private Ryan. Let's have a look at Band of Brothers and the attack on the Merville Battery and things. Like we can recreate that, which was an actual thing, but this is also shown in the in the TV series. And it's like, well, you've got your heroes, you know who everybody is, and
but
let's play this.
There's even the avenue of making these things relatable, because it's a lot of these stories that are told within some of the fantasy realms and stuff, they're actual stories that are historical.
Yes, they've just been lifted on there.
They go they talk about Game of Thrones and some of the stories that George R. Martin's done. They go, well, a lot of them are like things that actually happen, things like the Red Wedding and all that. Like, these things actually happen in certain aspects of history. So
it's just War of the Roses with dragons.
Do you know
basically
this and relate it and go, oh,
yeah.
There wasn't dragons in Wars of the Roses.
I don't know. You'll have to ask Martin, as Seventh Son.
I'll have to
inform on that.
I'll have to ditch me Wars of the Roman Wars army. Now I've got fucking 3 dragons, 50 quid a piece they were.
Oh well, right from city tops.
Oh, did you see the pipe block? Did you like the pipe block?
For somebody who extremely hates weird shit, you went down the weird shit route.
Did you see the double comedy in that? I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Well, what nobody did do, because what I did do deliberately, I do this every now and again, like gluing machine guns upside down just to fucking wind pendants up. But I put an absolutely massive flag in it that was just ridiculously big, because I needed an oversized flag, and I also needed a flag with unpainted edges for the photographs for the World Cup thing. So I thought, I'm not gonna call somebody out and just because somebody's gonna go, "They're my fingers, you bastard." So I did it, and nobody said anything at all. And it's ridiculous. It's like the size of a have you seen that Spanish flag laid out in the hall in the British Museum?
Yeah.
It's kind of that big. And nobody said anything.
Physically impossible to actually pick up, but somebody's got it there in your pipe block.
And I was desperate for somebody to say something so I could go, it's a fucking pipe block full of Bradford City kids.
It's like you ever see these illustrations from like the 1600s or 1500s, and it's like the Dutch or some like Croatian ones from the early 30 Years' War, and they've got these illustrations at ensigns with these flags, and they're humongous, and people go, that must have been the size of it. I'm like, it's impossible. They could not have been that size. They would not have been able to hold it up. They would have blown away.
Yeah. It's similar with the Italian wars as well, in that a lot of painting, it was done through Patreon, like the modern thing, where people would pay towards having a painting done. And if you pay towards that painting done, your flag's going to be bigger and it's going to be at the front, regardless of where it was in the battle itself. So you kind of, even though we talk about contemporary sources all the time, you still have to be a little bit careful sometimes with the context on which they were produced. So Kerry Thomas from New Zealand, hi Kerry, always comes to parties and says hello. How far is it acceptable? I'm worried already. To stretch substitute units when you don't have the correct figures. So is it okay to use Napoleonic line for guard, for example, or Panzer IV for a tiger, Mexicans for Italians?
Well, this is entirely dependable, isn't it, on the person? It's like this goes to the unpainted figures, isn't it? I mean, if you're happy to play with unpainted figures on your tabletop, then you're probably happy to replace a tiger with a Sherman or whatever. Personally, I wouldn't. I would prefer to have the model that is intended to be there, or the units that were historically there. But that's just entirely up to the person, individuals.
Doesn't bother me too much. I've seen some people do it, and like I remember one scene. It was a guy Warlord. I think it was Warlord brought out plastic Portuguese for Napoleonics, but somebody was then going, right, well, I'm going to use them for War 1812 American because
okay.
I'm like, why not just use the brigade figures that Paul Hicks has done? And he's like, because I like
They're
plastics
nicer.
and it's cheaper.
Yeah.
But and somebody might actually say the same to you about using American Civil War stuff in your Italian wars. But
yeah,
it's
figures just aren't available.
Well, there's that, and you go, oh, that's quite clever that you've actually used them.
Yeah, no, I think it can be acceptable, and I think it's whether it's explainable. You know, when I was younger, we played Waterloo a few times, and we had 2 or 3 people with British figures and nobody with Hanoverians. So we used British figures for Hanoverians because we just didn't have them. Yeah, I wouldn't do it for a display game. I would always try and get it right for a display game.
That's a bit different when it's in the public eye, isn't it? In your own room or in your own club or whatever, you know. Do what you do. You if you're happy with it, just do it. Doesn't matter, does it?
Exactly.
You know,
Mark Flack on Facebook. How would you think traditional shows could improve their reach outside of a greying audience without just flooding the venue with 2x2 fantasy Kickstarters?
God,
So
I let out a big sigh there because of the greying audience comments. My God, the hobby has been greying since I started in the 1980s.
Yeah.
They were writing articles in War Games Illustrated, miniature war games about the hobby getting older and older. If they were doing that 30 years ago, 40 years ago, nothing has changed.
Yeah. I remember going to Fiasco when I was in my late teens, early 20s, and people talking about it then, and you know, I don't particularly want to give my age away, but that was a fucking long time ago. And I'm now the grey one going round. And I don't particularly see it. I don't, because Salute, you went, Alex, didn't you? It was quite a lot of younger people there.
Oh, God, yeah, it was absolutely packed with kids.
Yeah.
You know, it was great. Same with Partisan. Same. Loads of kids there. You know, and loads of youngsters as well in between. Like, when I say kids, you know, not just little nippers. I mean, you know, 20, 30-year-olds, which to me is a kid these days. But, you know, yeah, plenty of youngsters. And there are a lot of, 2x2 skirmish games, but so what?
I think the important thing...
want to play.
Yeah, I think the important thing is, I hate using Americanisms, but I'm going to use one. I stay in my lane. And I do big games, and I try and make them interesting. I try and make them look good, and I'm always trying to be enthusiastic when I'm talking to people. If I'm not sat down with a painful leg, but it's you know, that's what, to me, that's what it takes. It takes people who are enthusiastic about what they do, encouraging people to start it. And if you don't have those people, then that's when the hobby.
But then this is the thing as well. I mean, you know, big games, they're probably not the flavour of the month. But you go around Partisan. I went around Partisan, and there's loads of big games, and there was a lot of young people playing them. And had, you know, I was chatting to somebody, I can't remember which one it was. There was one that was like an 18-foot long foot table, and it was, I can't remember if it was like English Civil War or something. And I was just chatting to one of the guys, and he was probably like, you know, mid-30s. And he said, oh, yeah, you know, I brought a lot of these figures myself. So there's people out there still playing big games. You know, it's not the I think flavour of the month is, you know, 2x2 skirmish games, because they're small and they're cheap and people can turn them out pretty quickly. So people buy them and they play them and then they move on to something else. But there's still plenty of space for big games to be played.
There is a lot. There is quite. We always say that, as you say, everyone says it's grey, but there's always a next generation. I'm not relatively young. I'm not relatively old either in terms of a gamer. I'm only 42 this year, and that's quite normal, I think, for people that I've been exposed to. And there's been a number of guys roughly about my age as well on my UCAN recently. But if we really want to change it, and if we do want a bigger influx of people, it actually goes back to what you had with Jared on, and I think it's that if we as a hobby have a concern, we need to be doing more to try and influence it and whether that is getting involved with schools to say, right, how do you want to tell a historical aspect? No, are you doing a subject at school that the kids are doing, and we could tell a story with gaming, and I think I thought that was so interesting with what Jared does with his own background and uses that to tell a story to kids that I think would get them involved. Because I remember doing when we did the big Waterloo game, the guys had actually, I was meant to be involved with the game. I did a whole unit, but the guys actually said, "Can you actually put a game on it up in the balconies that would allow people to play in between watching the big game?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I came up with a game for it was a Jacobites v Redcoats, basically hunting for gold, and it was a simple game that just pass short time for people to play as they're walking around. But what actually happened is I got an influx of school kids surrounding me from Clydebank, and they were all playing the game and they loved it. They absolutely loved it. They didn't know anything really about the period, but they were all really into it, and that's it. I know a few guys who are like support teachers and stuff, and they have gaming clubs at schools that they're involved in, but they're all 40k guys, and so they're the guys that are going out there.
They're the
and
ones you want to
reaching out
hit, aren't they?
kids.
This kind of goes back to what we were saying about the articles in magazines. If you want to see it happen, if you want to help the hobby spread to the youngsters, which I don't think there's an issue about it anyway. But yeah, go out and do it, like you said, Ian. Go and visit schools, set it up. How difficult is it? You know what I mean? To put something on, or it's a museum or something. There's plenty of people that do that. You see them all the time, and museums and public areas are always interested in getting people in, to put something on, because it means that they don't have to do it,
Yeah.
So there's all these outlets, and that is a way to get people involved and interested.
Certainly from doing this show and looking for guests, it's not difficult for me to find people who do that sort of thing. We've talked about Jared, and you brought that up, and Aaron at Preston Pans,
yes, exactly,
museum, exactly the same sort of thing. So there are people out there doing, and I think just if you're that way out, do your bit and try and push the hobby forward. And I think we're in a decent place.
I think we are. We're in a golden age. I mean, you can look at look at the amount of people that came through the door at Partisan recently. Look at the amount of people that came through the door at Salute. It's increasing year on year on year. So what if somebody plays 40k and historicals? They're playing games. They're part of the hobby. They're part of the wider hobby. Doesn't matter. It don't matter if they're playing a 2x2 skirmish, because they might at the club they might go down and play, an all-day Waterloo game. With the old boys.
And I have got nothing against that whatsoever. This podcast is about big games and big wargaming, and I stay in my lane. And I drive along in my lane with the window open, shouting like an angry man with piles. But
it goes in his lane with a baseball bat, just going past him.
Bastards!
When he goes past him, he goes, "Did he say something? Did you hear something?" And you just go.
But I do that because other people do. If you play Bolt Action, you've got 30 or 40 podcasts you can listen to.
Yeah.
These the guys who do the Meg podcast, for example, Mortal Megalorium, and they'll do like specials on the armies and how to pick them and stuff like that, which is not what I'm into, but I appreciate what they're doing because it's a different element. So all I'm doing, naysayers out there, is staying in my lane. Anyway,
you're not allowed to do that in wargaming. You've got to do a little bit of everything.
You see, this is why I feel sorry for. I'm not going to name names. This is why I feel sorry for some magazine editors, because they need to be nice about everything, because they can't afford to piss off.
No,
a bit like you.
You
can't afford to piss off a company or a set of rules or something along those lines. Whereas I've got no dog in the fight. If I don't like something, I'll just say it.
Fuck.
What if somebody said your podcast was fucking shit? I'd go, yeah, fine, it's your opinion, mate.
So what? Yeah, just don't listen to it. Yeah,
just don't listen to it. Lots of other people do. You don't have to. Simple as that. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, Simon
thoroughly
Stokes.
answered.
Yeah, thoroughly answered. Simon Stokes on Facebook. When putting on an historical game for a show, Is it a good idea to pick a lesser-known conflict or battle to portray? The award-winning, well done, Simon, the award-winning Mentana is the obvious example, but what other niche games have you done and which work best? I think it's a good idea, and I've said this on the show before, because nobody else knows fuck all about it. So you can't go, I think you'll find that those are Mexican flags, and they
You can
didn't
get
have
away with a lot
Mexican
more, can't
flags at the Alamo. And I think you'll find that the Alamo wasn't like that. It's fucking Mentana, 1867 in Italy, and they're Italians.
Yeah, there's that approach.
Yes.
There are others. I don't know. I think it adds to the interest, doesn't it? I mean, at Partisan, for example, there's the Boondock Saints.
Yes.
They always put on really obscure, or to us in the Western area, obscure Indian conflicts from the 19th century. Yeah. Stuff you'd never even heard of before, or most people haven't done, and their displays are always fantastic. Even if you don't know anything about it whatsoever, they're just fantastic to look at. And they always really, really, they are top level display games, and they don't have to be Waterloo all the time, do they?
No. I think you need to. Well, you don't need to, but if you put something on that's been done 1,000 times before, like Waterloo, then it's very hard for it to stand out, because Peter Gilder was taking a Waterloo game around France and places like that in the 1970s, and it still looks amazing today. So you really, really have to do something out of this world to make it look different. Yeah, when I do Narvik, nobody's done Narvik like that before.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done Mentana. No, these are things that it's a fine line, because you are not appealing to people who like mass stuff, because people coming up and going, "Oh, is that Mexican Revolution?" Oh, you've just fallen over. Or they don't look at it because they don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
So it's a bit of a fine line.
It is. But then, we have a good mix at all the shows anyway of those things, of stuff that, you would expect, and then also things that are a bit weird and a bit different. So, it's all there.
I was putting Mentana together for about 3.5 years on Facebook. So if you're not looking at my Facebook, what are you doing? Reading magazines? Never catch on. Mark Flax managed to stick another one in. As a follow-up, I've done my typing wrong here, haven't I? Should the greying community be trying to show war games in different venues? We've covered that, haven't we? Spoke about that.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, we've done that. Dave Tuck, Facebook. Dave will be on the show very soon. Have you ever tried air war games?
Yes.
If not, why? It is cheap, low cost, like a Battle of Britain, Memphis Bell, Masters of the Air. 3 films got me into it. Alex, you do Algernon, you do World War One.
I do, yeah. Bag the Hun. One of my earliest war games I used to play when I was a teenager was the Paragon Air First World War air rules, where you had big sticks and you move your planes up and down on them.
Oh yes, I remember them. We used to go around the estate and steal car aerials, so you could put your planes on them.
It's a good idea, but I never stole anything to do it. We just used to use gardening rods.
I didn't either. Just make that perfectly clear.
Yes. Yeah, in case the boss is listening. And Rick Tofen's War was again one of my first board games I ever played. First World War. It's a hex and counter game, but it was world. And I love aerial games. I think they're brilliant. I'm actually at the moment I'm in the middle of selling off my Wings of Glory collection.
Advertising. Is it on eBay, Alex?
It's on eBay.
Send a link.
Check out Storm of Steel Wargaming on eBay. But yeah, I'm selling off that collection because I don't really play it anymore, because I've switched to 1/300 scale for the First World War. But I play it, and I've played it for decades. Nothing new.
I wasn't a big air gamer. I've played a few games, but one of the games that I really liked, and probably would try and play more, I don't know if you've played it, is that Osprey's Undaunted, Battle of Britain.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's quite
Oh,
good.
yeah.
I've got
The
that.
board
Yeah,
game.
I've got that.
The board
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got
but
that.
you say board game, it could easily be a miniatures game. It's
Yeah.
It's
We'll
just
play
just the
PC
format
miniatures
that they
that way.
literally, because you just move at the same.
My only issue with the game was I did do a review of it. Is that it doesn't have altitude in it.
Yeah.
Which it is, but you could quite easily add altitude into it. Very simply, you just have 3 levels. High, middle, low, and then you just move up and down the altitude levels. Just have a dice to show.
Did it
which
have
altitude
attitude?
It had attitude, lots of attitude. Yes,
But no altitude.
no altitude, just attitude. But yeah, it's a good game. All of the Undaunted games are very good. I've got all of them. But
I've got
I
the
was
desert
happy
one.
with
I've not
the
really
game.
played it yet.
I think with the air games, I think it's quite similar to naval games. It can be quite daunting in terms of the rule sets. That there's so much information, and as you say, some of the guys I know they play is check your six.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And I think that's got quite a lot that you need to. It's all to do with angles and stuff, and there's all these different rules. And you can get right into the nitty gritty of it, and I think sometimes that could be something you can go, oh, don't know if I want to play that. Whereas maybe later on, if you get right into air games, or you're just happy with the simplicity of something like Undaunted, and go, yeah, this is great fun. Just pass away in a club night. I'm not really wanting to get into painting loads of planes, but yeah, I'll play this, get this game out, and play it for an hour.
I can see the similarities, Ian, like you said about sea naval games as well. There's that lack of required terrain, easy to set up, easy to play, but there is that technical aspect to it that can put people off. So yeah, I played World War One.
Back then, I just remembered there's Fire in the Sky by Mark Fastoso, which is quite an abstract game, and it's played on grids, and it's very, very good. And you can play you can do the Masters of the Air raids, because you get like 18 B-17s on the board and a load of Germans attacking them, and it's really cleverly done because there isn't any of that technical know-how in there. You basically just go in and then you bounce off, and you might scatter off, and that's it. That's your attack over, and it's very quick. It's a really good game. Thoroughly recommend it. And I also have, a couple of games on the channel and also a review of it. That's on Storm of Steel Wargaming.
I'm sending him an invoice at this rate.
That's Storm of Steel Wargaming on YouTube. Just in case we missed it.
Yorkshire Gamer on YouTube. Do videos about magazines and swear a lot. Andy Sykes on Facebook. Why do wargamers ask, mainly on forums, I can see where this is going, for help about the historical details of units, weapons, and uniforms when they can, and then when they get the answers, they get annoyed? That should have been in the World Cup of hate.
That's a bit of a leading question, isn't it? That
it is, but I've seen it. Like, oh yeah, has anyone got any details? In fact, I'm sure I've had it. Where has anyone got any details on such and such? And I go, yeah, this, and the other. No, I don't think that's right. You need it should be this. Well, why have you fucking asked me?
A loaded question.
Yeah, I'm not sure why people do that.
No,
I can't answer that question.
Yeah,
and there is that point you get, isn't there? And this might come up in a question later on, but where you just think, fucking just read something.
Yeah. I've sometimes typed out questions and then just thought, no, I should just pick the rules up, or pick a book of uniforms up, or Google it first and then ask the question if I can't find it.
I'm really keen, although it might not sound like it. I am really keen to help people, and I've offline and stuff. I do a lot of stuff where people just contact me about painting slips and stuff like that. Do a lot of work for charity, but I don't like to talk about it. I'm fine with that, absolutely fine. But there does get a point where you think, really, mate? Really?
Yeah. Sometimes there's only so many times you can say the same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's been reading a book.
Unless it's somebody's reading, and then you can say that repeatedly.
Somebody's reading a book on Italian wars and can't find the Bradford City faction.
No, it's a war band.
I'm hope
It's a
fucking
war
hell.
band. Oh, sorry, Ken.
I've called it warband because it's warband in the rules. Well, the fucking rules are wrong then. Anyway, right. So, and then when they get the answers, they get annoyed. Right. So let's just forget that last bit of the question. Facebook, Tarquin Lloyd Smith. Whoa, we've had this one a lot of times. If you could pick any troop type genre, what would you use? Wet scale. Italian was 28mm.
First World War 15mm.
French Indian Wars 28mm.
Thank you, Tarquin. But we have had that question a number of times before. Right. I'm going to read this question and answer it because you two are just going to glaze over. Ken Whitehurst, Facebook. I am slowly building some Italian Wars armies.
I'm checking my Facebook.
For pike and shot. There's your first mistake. And I am not sure what to do with Lanznecks, Y-handers or doppel soldiers. I love the look and idea of them as battle line, possibly a pike block, but don't see them actually modelled on the table in many games I see online. They aren't even listed in pike or shot or Furioso. Can I suggest you read Furioso again? Because they are listed in there, and there is a special section on the rules in them of how they fight. I'm wondering if they should just be scattered among the pike swordsmen. Units use Spanish roderos, Italian infantry sword and shield. Are they treated the same as halberders? Right, it does go on a little bit more after that. Right, choose the set of rules you're going to use. Work out how they do it and fit your figures in around that. All of them, or that we've just spoken about, have a similar function in that they fight within a pike block or around a pike block during contact between pike to try and exploit gaps between the pike. And these two are falling asleep now. And but they both do it in different ways at different times. So it depends whether your rules accommodate that or not. And if they don't, they should do.
So we're just what we were talking about, getting a younger generation into the historical war games has just been absolutely destroyed.
That's it. Absolutely.
Yeah, but if I said, would you like a man with a big sword? Well, maybe I shouldn't do that, should I? No, it's getting a bit Jimmy Savile-wise.
Yep.
Now then.
Oh dear. I bet one of my colleagues had retired not that long ago recently, and he said, "Oh, I'm working as a hotel porter," and I said, "What, like Jimmy Savile?" Thankfully, saw the funny side of it. So, yeah, you're asking whether you should model separate units for them or put them in your pike block. I would put them on separate bases within your pike block, and then you can use them as the rules predict. Right, no point.
That's exactly what I would have said.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Intsgold, Facebook. Again, this is one we've had a lot of times. Assuming unlimited resources, what would you game, beat, and why? We've had that one lots of times, so I'm just going to breeze over that one, which is nicely because George Breeze is the next question. What would your absolute nightmare war game, zero enjoyment or pleasure be? We've not done that one.
That is a good one. Trench
Period
Crusade.
rules scale. Trench Crusade.
Yeah, just
anything where I'm going. What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Freaking jousting. What the fuck's that?
Yeah, any weird War One for me. Any of them. It doesn't have to be just Trench Crusade. Any of them. Yes.
Is that bloody one with not chickens, ducks? Quar.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't get it.
It's absolutely fine if you play those games and help is available on the NHS. But I don't get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, me neither.
So I think
Ian.
Even with those games, are we talking period here, or just anything in general?
Anything. Anything that you would.
I think even those games that you're speaking about, I think there could be enjoyment in it. If somebody was to say to me, "Do you want to play this? Do you want to try it out?" And if it was fun, I would gladly say it was fun. What annoys me with games is if you play a game and it's just two armies lined up in front of each other, whether it's like ancients or Dark Ages, and they just go, right, I've got my line of figures, you've got your line of figures, there's no terrain in between, there's nothing, and we're just going to fight, and that's it, and somebody's a winner.
We're going to march into the middle of the table. Yeah,
it was just shit. There was no narrative, there was no story behind it. and you just had a fight, and we've picked a winner, and I go,
Mm.
that was a waste of my time. That's my least enjoyable.
Dave Benton's chucked a few questions in on Facebook.
Just before we start on those, can we just have a quick comfort break?
Yes, sure, no worries, mate.
Is that all right? Just need 5 minutes just to go and Scythe and the Python.
Yes, I'm gonna.
You can cut this bit out.
Yeah, I'll stop. I'll stop it there.
Why? We'll be getting the ladies will want to join with the Python.
Right, now the older men are back in the room. We have Dave Benson put a few questions in, some sensible, some not. So, dunkability of Garibaldi versus the mighty Hobnob. I do not dunk.
No, me neither. I've never done biscuits and tea.
Tea is sacred.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh no, I do dunk a biscuit.
Oh,
I've never. I'm trying to even remember if I've had a Garibaldi biscuit. Not too sure, but
we call fly biscuits. We call.
Yeah, I did fly biscuits. Yeah,
I definitely dunk a hobnob though. Chocolate hobnob, custard cream.
There's your answer for you, Ian.
Ian does. We don't.
Sacrifices his tea with dunkers. Which is more annoying? Right, so let's see if anyone can understand this. Which is more annoying, the I go, you go paired with automatic universal unit activation, or the random activation by card, chit, or draw? Oh, right, I get it now.
Which is more annoying?
What is more annoying?
I go, you go.
I go, you go,
me,
yeah.
I don't rule it out if I'm playing it, but I'm not. Yeah.
That question assumes that both of them are annoying, whereas one isn't.
Good point. Well made. Please give your. Well, this is something that came up on the Lee and Ray one. I don't know whether we spoke about it. I went off on one about there being no hills on tables anymore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So please give your views on hills on the table. Are they dying out? Is skirmish gaming to blame? It's fucking to blame for everything. Sloped aesthetics or sloped aesthetics or stepped practicality, and favourite material for construction of hills. They do seem to be. Am I just going mad? I mean, I could be mad already, but are we not having enough hills on terrain?
Table mats.
Yeah, table mats.
The bigger thing.
I with Chain of Command, I generally don't use them because you don't, unless there's a very, very pronounced ridge. But because of the level that Chain of Command is, 50mm figure is a 6 foot man on the tabletop. So you don't really see hills like that, unless it's like a really steep crevice or a really steep ridge. The small size of the table, the approximate table is, you won't see a Mont Saint-Jean ridge on there. If you're standing on Mont Saint-Jean ridge, you don't realise it's a ridge until you're facing 20,000 Frenchmen as they're coming up it. Do you know what I mean? It's about scale, isn't it? But yeah, for a bigger game like General d'Armée, I'd put hills on because they're more. You're using them more in the game, so it depends on scale.
The major parts of battle, so they should be included. It was just a big surprise to me how few there were. Absolute, and I think Ian, you were right with the table mats. It's just so convenient to just put a mat down and put other stuff on it that hills become a second thought. And they're difficult because what do you do? Do you produce a hill and try and match it with the cloth? Because you'd have to be pretty rich to buy cloths and cover your hills in the cloth, because that would fucking be expensive. Or do you go old school and put books underneath the cloth?
Books underneath.
Mm-hmm. Or even some of the cheap foam hills.
Yeah, that's what I do, yeah. All the hills that I've got that are flocked and stuff.
Who's that company that does the plastic hills?
Callistra?
Yeah, I think it's one of them.
Yeah, I think they do. There's a few anyway, isn't there? There's
a
plenty
guy.
of
There's a
like,
guy that
plastic things
does
like
them. Does like the plastic rivers and stuff.
Yeah. I think it might be Callistra, but yeah, see, you can get away with you just some books underneath the cloth. And again, done that plenty of times. I mould my hills using another cloth. Like I'll take a tablecloth and wrap it up, and then turn that into a ridge or something. And so I want I don't like stepped hills. I hate them. There's a couple of guys at the club who always play DBA and Ardalago, and he always gets this stepped hill out, and it's awful. It's like it's goblin green, and it's battered because it's an old polystyrene one that was obviously been around since like 1984 or something, and I hate it, honestly. If I could smash that hill up, I would. And I said to him, why do you use that hill all the time? He says, well, you can tell where your troops are on the hill. And I think, well, that's probably not the game for me then.
No, yeah, probably not.
I'm trying to come up with a piece of terrain that I can actually use for hills and stuff. Let's try to come up with how I'm going to do it. And it's not going to be stepped, but it's kind of going to be quite a rugged, because I'm trying to use it for my Irish War Independence stuff that I was saying.
Yeah.
So it can be like an ambush with IRA, with the Oxys coming around the corner, but it's how do you depict it? Because I wouldn't want to just do that under like a table map. I don't think it would work, especially when you see some of these, like the Clonmel ambush,
like
and stuff.
A crevice and things like that.
Yeah,
and like
it's
a
all rocky.
And things.
It's 100% and just covered in absolute high grass and heather and everything. So try to come up with something for that. But it's not easy. Need to spend time with it. I don't have time.
Still with Dave. He's coming with a few questions. If you absolutely had to be one of the woodland creatures in burrows and badgers, but only for a day, which would you choose?
God, I don't know what's in there.
Badger.
All I know,
I like badgers.
Badgers, yeah.
When I used to work, I used to work up in the Dales at night, there was this. I used to drive up to a certain location near just north of Grassington, and there was always these badgers around, and the daddy badger was a fucking massive fat twat, and he was so huge. And like I'd turn up, and the family had scarper over a stone wall, and he'd like get halfway over it, so his stomach was on the top of it, and then there'd just be this fucking badger flapping around like that, smashing this dry stone wall down until it got to its level, and then it could go on. And he was always up there when I go up on a night time. So I do like badgers.
I'm not keen on badgers because they destroy archaeology, and you can't shift them off. They'll burrow into the side of an Iron Age roundhouse or an Iron Age fort or something, and then you just can't shift them. They're stuck in there, and that's it. You've just got to wait for them to move. And if you do move them, because you can move them with gates and things and get them moved off, they just go around the other side and start burrowing into it on from that side. So yeah, I hate badgers.
Do they steal stuff? Do they like come out with gold crowns on?
Yes.
But that's how burrows and badgers started. Alex
exactly.
Was facing a badger, the helmet, shield, and sword. Can you go a fox? I don't know. Is there foxes in the game? I'd be a fox.
I think it's like Wind of the Willows kind of things, isn't it? It's all like moles and foxes and hedgehogs. Yeah, I'm sure they're in there. Yeah, I don't know what I'd be. I don't know. Next.
Don't mention red pandas.
Yeah, it'd be a red panda.
Taking all things into account, including travel, what are your top 3 personal favourite wargame shows?
Partisan. Top 3.
Partisan,
the other Partisan. Then Salute. No, I'd say Partisan. That encompasses all of them. I like Joy of 6. That's a good one. And I do like Salute as well.
I'll put Partisan together as the top one, and then Cannonade and Claymore.
I am going to go. No local bias whatsoever.
Fiasco.
A fiasco. It is. To be fair, it isn't my favourite show because I get up at fucking God o'clock in the morning and carry a shitload of figures down to the show, and it's always a ball ache. So, because I'm not visiting, am I? I'm there doing things.
Yeah. It's work,
Partisan. I've really enjoyed Salute for the last couple of years, and I am going to say Claymore as well. You really enjoy going to Claymore. Really, I haven't been for probably 5 or 6 years now. I've always enjoyed going to Claymore.
I've never been.
What was that place where in the middle of town? Was it the Merchant Hall or something? When it was before it went to Meadowbank. It was somewhere in. It was. We were like four floors up. I can't remember the name of it now. We did Lepanto there, and I'm still shaking from painting fucking small galleys to do it. But yeah, I've always enjoyed.
I was considering coming down for Fiasco. Don't know yet.
Oh, really?
Because there's a little bit of confusion on the date for other Partisan. Because I think it said on their calendar it was one weekend, and I'm away to Disneyland. I think the calendar said it was the 19th of October, but then on the Facebook, I think it says it's the 12th of October.
Okay,
that'd be better for us. They've kind of moved their show closer towards Fiasco, which is a real pain in the arse.
Yeah, so I think Fiasco's what's that on the 26th? So
last weekend in October.
Yeah, the 18th, 19th, I'm away to Disneyland, so I was like, can't go to Partisan. So I was thinking, it was like,
so just news if you didn't know, this year's Fiasco is inside the museum. In the exhibition hall that we used to be in, which is slightly smaller than the one that we're normally in, but we're inside the museum this year. And I think although it's smaller, I think it's a nicer venue inside.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. The draw is I've never been to the museum. I've always wanted to go. They've got a number of things that I've always wanted to see.
It's a good museum.
Yeah, it's well worth checking. Very worth it.
It's got a lot of stuff from that Elizabethan period.
Yeah, that's a good thing. If you've not been to Fiasco before and you've not been to the museum before, it's well worth it. As a full day, because Fiasco is quite a small show, isn't it, Ken? I mean, you can get around it pretty quick. If you're not shopping and stuff, or if you're not playing games. But yeah, being in the museum, then you can spend a couple of hours in the museum as well. Yeah, good stuff.
Then I go and ruin it all by getting drunk the night before and just like
turning up at 3:00 just as they're closing.
Yeah.
Spending half an hour and wanting to go home. Oh.
I'll take you to the Duck and Drake Inn. It's the best proper beer pub in Leeds. There's a couple of stuff they have on draft there that 3 or 4 pints and you're falling over. It's proper stuff. It is very good stuff. So, final question from Dave: Smarties or M&Ms? Neither. I'm diabetic.
M&Ms. I like
Smarties. I think.
Easy enough.
Yeah, don't really eat either of them, but yeah, I think I'll probably go Smarties. Just I don't know, for no other reason that I don't like American chocolate so much.
Is M&Ms are American? Oh, yes, they are, aren't
they?
Right. So, Danny Fletcher, Facebook. We have had this many times, so I'll just say, Holy Grail of War Games for you and why.
Just listen to the old episodes.
Yeah. I'll be nicer than Alex.
Listen to the first Brews in the Binyard. I think we covered this one.
But I would love to be involved in Martin Kelly's Pavia game at Historicon this year. The work that he's put in, and I don't know if you've seen, he's done like 40 foot of walls for Pavia. And he's built individual buildings for the Mirabello, all based on actual stuff. And then there's still people going, "Oh, I don't think they broke through the wall there."
Why don't you? Have you ever considered going over? I keep thinking I would.
Yeah, I do want to do it. I do want to do it, but just personal circumstances and this uncertainty of retirement with myself is. I need to know exactly where I am financially before I commit to it, because it's quite a financial thing, and also time wise. And it really annoyingly, my friend Andy is going out, and he's hired a house because it was cheaper than the hotel. And it's a really, really nice house. So it would be, I'd split the accommodation with him, and it would be really cheap. But there we go. Andy Rawson, Facebook. This week's must-have game / rules is next week's chip paper. Is the constant churn of games rules affecting the hobby?
No, it's always been there. There's always the new. There's always the shiny. It's that. Again, it's just that there are a lot more games now because there are a lot more people involved in wargaming. It's just the numbers, isn't it? And you don't have to partake in it if you don't want to. You can still play your 1970s, WRG rules if you want to. There's nothing making you buy or play any game at all. I don't think it affects the hobby. I think it just introduces new people to the hobby.
Yeah, I think at the want of annoying another load of people, but who cares? Eventually, you grow up to the stage where you realise that your 28mm Napoleonics are 28mm Napoleonics, and you can play any game with them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you buy, I'm looking at Mongoose again because they've always annoyed me. If you buy Starship Troopers, you can only play Starship Troopers with them. Or if you buy X-Wing, you can only play X-Wing with them. There's very little extra uses for those figures. Whereas if you buy a period and a scale, you can always play that period and scale.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here and say yes and no, because you could quite easily play other games with those. I mean, I've got a lot of Legion stuff, and I don't play Legion. I play Chain of Command with them, or Xenos Rampant with the Star Wars stuff. I don't play with Legion at all anymore. X-Wing, you could play pretty much any aerial combat game with those.
Yeah,
you just have to adapt it. You know what I mean?
I think I see exactly what you're saying, and I think maybe what I was trying to get at was the more concentrated games that are within their own universe.
Yes, I know what you're saying. They kind of yes, yeah. A Star Wars game is always going to be a Star Wars game, whereas your 28mm French, you can fight them, at a push in 1815 and back in 1809 if you don't want to be too pedantic about Shaco styles.
Eastern Front faction.
Yes, the Eastern Front faction or the Western Front faction.
How many chicken jousting games are there going to be?
Probably not so many next year, I wouldn't have thought. But
I can't believe there's one. But you're not going to play that game. You're suddenly not going to. We're just playing the Battle of Ligny. I've got. You bring your Prussians. You bring your French. Dave, you bring your jousting chickens.
we did the last Brews in the Binyard not soon after the episode had finished. I was on one of my WhatsApp groups, and my mate Carl put in. He listens to this, by the way. We actually put a picture in. He says, "Look what I bought." Jousting chickens. I was like, we were just speaking about that.
The thing is, I mean, again, stuff like that, and even dare I say it, stuff like Trench Crusade and things. People are going to buy into these things, and then they'll probably not play them again in a few years or whatever. But they will always play the games that they've also always played as well.
Yeah.
So there is a constant churn of games, but I can't believe that there's any single one person who is just all they're doing is playing a new game each week and never playing another game that they've played for years before. Because
I
you
think
see it at the club and stuff, where they always bring in a new game, but they always do go back to the old games that they played as well.
I think, and stick with me with this before you fucking go off. I think that a lot of these games are like Ann Suber's edible knickers. They're just you're going to use them once. You're just going to use them once, and then they're discarded and you don't use them again.
Yeah, next week you are going to get another pair of knickers, edible knickers.
You don't want to eat them again next week. I had them last week.
Mm.
Not hungry today.
Well, all right, different pair of edible knickers.
Different flavour.
Yeah,
different flavoured. Yeah. So there we go. That's my hot take on
edible knickers.
There's always questions that come up, and I mean, one of them is like that: the graying of the hobby, or is X harming the hobby? And I can't see any harm in the hobby at all. All I can see is just continual growth in the hobby and the spreading of the hobby. You know what I mean? There's always seems to be. I'm attacking your questionnaires here, Ken. There always seems to be this like almost negative idea that this hobby is dying when it really isn't, and it really is. It's expanding, and just because it's doing stuff that you as an individual might not be interested in doesn't mean to say that it's still not doing stuff. And it goes back to that, if you've got 6th edition Warhammer and that's what you want to play, you've got the rules and the figures, play it. It doesn't matter what new things there are. You know what I mean?
The hobby's
yes,
your
exactly.
hobby. And not everyone is. Somebody else playing a different type of game isn't harming your version of the hobby.
No, exactly not.
You
exactly
probably
not.
don't game with that guy anyway. So
yeah.
And like as I said, you have a close circle of people that you'd game with, and 9 times out of 10, that person might not paint those figures. But if you were to turn around and say to them, "Do you want to play this game?" they would go, "Ah, yeah, I'll play it." No matter the period, if it's your interest. No, not everyone's got the same interest as me, and I don't have the same interest as everyone else. But if they turn around to me and say, "Do you want to play this game?" Yeah, I will. No, you're my friend. I enjoy playing with you. I'll play that game no matter most things.
Yeah, it happened to me on Thursday. We played Force on Force.
Mexican
Drug War. Yeah. I enjoyed the game. I've got some thoughts on it, but my mate put it on. I have absolutely zero interest in picking up the rules, zero interest in ever painting anything for it. But yeah, I'm more than happy to play it because I want to play, like you say, with my mates. And it doesn't matter, does it? I'll go back to the things that I want to do in a couple of weeks,
Yeah, and it's not harmed your hobby.
No, no,
it's not interfered on it.
Yeah.
Were they Mexicans or Italians, though, Alex?
They were Italians. Yeah. They were on holiday in Mexico. Drug mules.
I think the question of harming your hobby can come from where you are solo focused on things like, a brand, whether that is something like bolt action. If you're focused on that set of rules in the brand, something can harm that in terms of chain of command, and you maybe go, "Well, I'm a competition gamer," or 40k, or that kind of thing. I think those hobbies can be harmed by certain outside aspects, because it maybe takes gamers away from them. But if you're with so many historical games, it doesn't really harm them, because if you find a set of rules and you enjoy them, you're going to play them. You maybe have 1 or 2 other guys that probably play them. You don't have a wide gaming group of, say, 50 guys that are totally right into that, unless you're like one of the lardies zealots that just focus on all of the lardy games. But again, they're not getting harmed with other stuff because it's not going to change their mind. They're just this is what we play. We want to play, and we love playing it. So I don't think, as it goes back to what you say, I don't think there is things harming my hobby.
No,
because it's mine, and I'll do what I want to do in terms of my hobby. And
but we do have to say that if you do play something slightly off-piste, there is a lot of humour in it for some people. And people find what I do funny, and I don't mind people laughing at me. I just don't have a problem with it at all. And I'll have a laugh at, if you're pushing a fucking plastic chicken round a jousting ring, I reserve the right to laugh at it. And if you think that me pushing a 96-figure Bradford City pipe block around is funny, laugh, because it's funny. Right, Steve Evans on Facebook. Kind of get this one. Being men of a certain age, have you ever thought about going back and revisiting rule sets and games you played when you first started the hobby? And is it easier now that you can afford it?
Yeah, I've done it. I did it with Blood Bowl 2nd edition. So cool. I bought it as a kid when it came out in whenever it was, 88 or something. And I was, I must be about 13 or 14. I bought it. Could never afford any of the figures to make up a full team. So all I ever had was the plastic humans and orcs and 1 or 2 extra bits. I went back about 10 years ago. I rebought it, bought a load of ogres, bought a load of orcs, bought a load of dark elves, all the teams that I have, all I wanted when I was a kid, because I had disposable income, painted them all up, played the game, thought this is shite. and then sold them all last year.
Did not see that coming.
Incredibly clunky, very 1980s Games Workshop. You know, I loved it when I was a kid. We played it, and I kind of struggled with it when we played it again. And you know, again, I bought other rules like the Paragon Air rules. I bought a copy of those a few years ago just to see what they were like again. So I'd forgotten, and my God knows how we ever struggled through them. But you know, we did because we knew them inside out at the time. But I wouldn't play them now. So yes, I've done it, and I've drawn a line under it. It scratched that nostalgia itch.
The last show I did with Ken Hanning, the one in between the two Brews and the Binyard, Ken brought up a book by John Saunders that I hadn't seen before. It was quite like pre-Terry Wise days, and there was loads of like really, really complicated gadgets in it and twisty dials and all sorts of stuff. And I was just fascinated by that. I'm sure they wouldn't be a lot of fun to play, but it did pique my interest. I've not done anything with it yet, but I've bought a couple of boxes of Airfix figures, and Andy Duxbeard from X and Facebook, etc., has given me a few Airfix tanks, and I'm going to recreate Bruce Quarry's World War II rules.
Oh, excellent!
Just as it's not cost me hardly anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that in the future, but I just haven't had time to put it together yet.
I did it. We're going back to Lord of the Rings.
Was it worth it?
Yeah, still good.
You still like it, yeah?
Is that the Games Workshop version?
Yeah.
What's it called? Middle Earth Strategy Battles or something? Is it?
Yeah. But I'm not too sure about some of the changes that they've made. They've streamlined it all again. Don't know if I'll fall in line with that.
Oh yeah, my books are down there. I could see them. But I've got some Riders of Rohan.
Yeah. That's what I'm waiting on. I want to see if they've released all the Rohirrim on foot, and they've retooled them all, so it's all new figures. Based I don't know if you've seen the new TV show, the War of Rohirrim. It's really good.
Yes.
It's like an animated series. It was really good. It was well done. But they brought out figures for that, so I'm just waiting to see if they bring out the mounted ones. It would be pretty cool. But again, I could easily use those figures for something like Midgard if I really wanted to go down that route. Seems to be quite popular at some of the clubs around here.
Right. Nigel Madderford on Facebook. I'll just answer this one because it's straightforward. Do model ships fall over if they're not based? No, because they've got a flat bottom.
Good question. Good question. Like it.
Simple.
Like it.
Richard Speedman also on Facebook. What's your well, we've had this 1,000 times. What's your favourite war games unit and why?
I kind of remember what I've answered in the past. Go back through the old.
You went with that sergeant who.
Oh yeah, Sergeant Thompson. Yes, yeah.
Sergeant Thompson in Malaya. Bradford City Pipe Block. There's a new answer for you. Charlie's Bodyguard, Ian.
No, I would probably say the Royal Ecossairs that fought at the Jacobite Rebellion. I think they're one of the most interesting looking ones out of them all.
Now, my big mistake was putting this also out on Lead Adventure Forum, and what's it called? TMP. Thankfully, we got nothing. We got nothing from TMP apart from a load of fucking shite, which you normally get on there. I was
can't believe you still post on there.
I was panicking. I was panicking because we don't normally get enough questions, and then I thought, right, I'm going to put it everywhere, and then we get fucking 72. So this is a. I don't know whether there's much in it, but it's an interesting question. Modern warfare is currently undergoing a big shift. People are going to need to come up with rules that model a drone-dominated battlefield. I realise it's impossible to tell without seeing the particular rules, but does the idea of a game where the forces are mainly drones hold any appeal to you?
Personally, no, but that's because it falls into that modern warfare thing.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting thing, though. It's an interesting concept. That I mean, it's something that we didn't see 20 years ago, isn't it? Really. Drones were only just starting to be used in Afghanistan and things, weren't they, for strikes and stuff? But nothing like they are now. in Ukraine and versus Russia. I mean, So it's something. How do you model that in a wargaming thing? Because it's a modern
off table.
Yes, off table. Yeah.
I think what I'd my sort of 2 pennies worth on this is that it is being wargamed in the armed forces now.
Oh yeah. Of course it is. Yeah, 100%.
And what would be interesting to know from a outside perspective is when they did they realise that this was going to happen?
What was the point?
So,
what was the tipping point on it?
So yeah, did they realise 5 years before Ukraine the massive amount of effect that drones were going to have? Because the drones in Afghanistan were those big predator things.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like miniature planes.
Yeah, they were more like dropping bombs, weren't they, or firing a missile off or something, rather than the kamikaze drones that are being used against Russian tanks, aren't they, at the moment? But yeah, so that's a very different aspect, isn't it?
There seems to be this thing where they're able to 3D print them as well, isn't it?
Yeah. All these technologies that are just coming together that just made them more and more affordable compared to a big main battle tank.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure, in sci-fi stuff. Is it I'm going to show my knowledge now. Is it the Tau in 40k that use drones? I believe it is.
No idea. I'll take your word for it.
Write
in, listeners, and let us know. Phil,
it is because my lad's got a Tau army. I've painted some drones for him. Silly reason, I know.
Phil Ken's comments with, do the Tau have drones? Let us know.
Hitting out with the weird shit.
I know that towns have got drones. I've painted them. Right. Argument on X. If your models are satin finish and your opponents were gloss, would it annoy you? No. Only if it was on direct sunlight and it was shining back in my eyes.
And also, I generally paint both sides as well, so everything is uniform when it comes to a finish, for the most part.
Ian?
I don't. No, I don't.
You don't look bothered.
No, I'm trying to think of anyone that I know who would gloss figures, and I don't really have anybody that I would game with.
Has anyone done that since the 1970s?
Yeah. I don't have anyone that I'd game with.
Yeah, I've only ever seen it recently when people are deliberately doing a retro.
That's a whole nostalgia thing. It's like people basing on.
Yeah, and that'd be very specific anyway, wouldn't it? You'd want to do both sides like that anyway.
Yeah.
Would you buy cheap pre-painted figures to wargame quicker, or is painting your own go-to?
70% of the hobby for me.
Yeah,
so
I'm a painter.
I'm a painter, but I commission people to paint for me as well for things that I just can't get to.
I have done it in the past. I did it. We needed a load of 15mm French Napoleonics, and I bought a load really cheap that were dreadful, but we just needed the units, so I bought them. But yeah,
I've guys painting for me all the time, so I've got about 75 of the Empress British Paras coming next week or something.
Oh, lovely.
I just with everything else that I've got on, trying to run the business, a family, I'm just like, I'm never going to get to paint these guys. I've bought them, so I might as well get.
We may as well do something with them.
Yeah, so some guy, I've got a boy who paints for me, and I'm just like I just send it to him, and he paints up.
Final quick question from Argument: modular scenic boards or scattered terrain on a suitably covered tabletop?
Both.
Yeah, I'd probably prefer the first, but it stops you doing. Yeah, whereas the second one is a bit more. You've got more open endedness with it.
Unless you're doing like a show and you're going, I've got something specific that I need, and this is going to be beautiful and it's going to look great, and you spend that time focusing on something, because then there's other things that you're going, well, if it's just a generic game, I have no problem. Like I'm talking about my Irish independence game, going like I'm looking for this outcrop, but I'm going right, well, I could use that for so much other games, like the Reavers, and going right. So I'm thinking about what other games I can factor that in and go, right, how do I do that? But do I want to take up loads of space when making that as a board, or do I just want to make that as an outcrop that can be put on top of the table and put on a shelf? Because I've seen some guys that over the years have went to like TM Terrain and they've bought these beautiful boards and they look great, but where do you store them all?
That's the problem, isn't it?
That's
the other issue.
That's the problem I have.
Yeah. You can wrap a cloth up, can't you, and just stick it on a shelf. But yeah, all those boards.
I don't think I would. Dare might be the wrong word, but I don't think I would want to take a game on a cloth to Partisan.
No, that's what I'm saying. For a show, I think you make that
just
extra
personally.
bit.
Yeah.
For a show, you make that extra bit. But say you play a lot of different games, and there's this thing about like positions of roads on a board, unless it's like a modular tabletop that you can change around with different options, and you've got loads of 2x2 boards that can all fit together, then you've got ultimate options. Something with putting roads on top of it, trees and hills, I don't think that's any problem for me anyway.
Awesome. Dex McHenry with a cheeky question. Has Ken won an award?
I don't know.
I read the magazine and there was no mention of it.
Yeah, no mention of it. No pictures, nothing.
So
no,
I think it was made up. The only person that knows they won it was Ken.
I'll send a ginormous bloody magnifying glass to you, and then you'll be able to see the picture. Has it? Well, I've actually won 2 awards recently. There was the Little Wars TV Podcast Award, never arrived, and the Best Historical War Game at Salute. Not the Best Large Scale Game that Warwick Kincaid won, and War Games Illustrated put that he won the Best Large Historical Game. No, this is why I'm falling out with you, because you're getting shit wrong.
I've won a few awards at shows for games and painting, but one of my best awards I ever got was I won an award for best painted figure, or was it a unit? I can't remember. But it was the only person that entered. So I got
default win.
I got that absolute piss ripped out of me for that.
At least you would. Hey, if you would have come second, and if you would have come second, and you would have
I got everyone at the show was ripping it out at me, going, "Oh, super figure painter award winner!" I'm like, "Fuck off."
And just to keep the lack of awards going, the Salute one hasn't arrived yet.
It didn't happen. It was a figment of your imagination. Somebody told you this is a good game and you heard award winner.
Probably sent both of them to Warwick Kincaid as a result of that video. Warwick, if you're listening, want me award?
Here's my address.
Dear me. I'm not giving my address out to War Games Illustrated. Oh, they've got it. I'll subscribe. Shit. Anyway, I've got a big dog. Stay away. Ty Lunn on Facebook. What are your oldest miniatures that still grace the tabletop, and do they deserve a +2 for their veteran age? I have, and we've said this on the podcast before. I've got some 15mm British Napoleonics that I painted when I was 11, and they are still behind me.
Yeah, I think my oldest ones are my Second World War Soviets. And Germans, actually, 15mm big ones are the old sculpts. So they must be like from about 96, 98 or something like that, I think. Nice. So yeah, they still grace the tabletop every so often. And no, so
I'm just thinking now, these figures are older than Ian.
Yes.
Most of them
mine aren't quite, but yeah, they're getting there.
Yeah. I will have painted them in 1979. Which is a number of years before Ian was born.
Yeah,
I was 5, so that tells you how old they are as well.
I wasn't born. My oldest figures seem to be the ones that I keep in my glass cabinet. They don't really go on the table though. If I've done big projects, I kind of tend to then maybe sell them on later or whatever. Yeah. If I've focused on something and I go into something else. So I probably don't have anything that's really old. Some figures are probably quite old for games, but they're probably not as old as what you guys are talking about.
No. We've already covered this one. Jeff Smith asking about particular units or personality figures in your armies that stick in your memory. We've done that with Corporal Thompson.
Yeah, don't need to.
Sergeant. I'm not back at work. Stop it. Strict historical accuracy or playability in rules. We've done that a lot in the past as well.
Yeah.
You can mix that. I think you can mix them up.
You can fall between two stools. Why does it have to be one or the other?
Yeah. Not big brown stools. Stools. Stephen Osborne. We've just literally answered this one. Increasing number of rule sets, good or bad thing. We've talked about that. Kerry Thomas. Now that Bradford City have been, this is going to be a me question. Now that Bradford City have been promoted, is it now the opportune time to change the away kit? And should it be red, white, and green as modelled by my Mexican faction?
No green.
No green. So Ian's going to draw the line at green. A claret doublet with puff sleeves and cuts. Is he going down West Ham here?
Start to sound like one of my border reavers here.
A large cod piece and beret, with the exception of the keeper, who should be adorned in a white compact with amber cords. I think somebody's drawing their fantasy uniform.
It sounds like it, doesn't it?
Have you ever seen this football game they play in Italy? And it's almost like they dress up almost Renaissance. Yeah, but it's like Renaissance style, but it's basically a fight.
Yeah, it's like some of the old football games that they used to have in the medieval period here in Britain, isn't it? Where the entire village just chase a ball.
Guys are like they're beating the shit out of each other, but they're like they wear the old breeches and stuff, and they go in and they just like go for it. And it's like, it's meant to be football. It's like, no,
it's more fighting.
There's one in either Oxford or Cambridge, the wall game or something along those lines, where they just punch each other up and try and get a ball.
They've got a couple of things like that down in the borders, so there's still some of the town traditions are what they used to call borders bar, and it's basically they just throw up a ball in the middle of the street and everyone just fights it.
Everyone goes for it, yeah.
And it's like the shops board up all the shops and everything because it just becomes absolute carnage.
Brilliant.
Oh dear. We're on to Blue Sky now, so we should get some left-wing questions here. There'll be Donald Trump on this one. Andy Shaw, first one up. We kind of covered it a little bit, but it's worth going through. With Warlord announcing they are dropping Judge Dredd, is historical wargaming's big advantage is that it has no IP? And I think it is. For that exact reason.
We kind of covered it already, haven't we? Yeah, it's like, you can play your French Napoleonics in any Napoleonic rule set. It makes no difference, does it? Basing used to be a thing, didn't it? Having base sizes in old rules, but then nowadays they're more basing agnostic, aren't they? They just use whatever size, whatever figures you got, as long as they match.
I know a number of guys that play Judge Dredd, but they use 7TV and stuff. So
yeah, as 7TV, though it's not my thing, I do have it, and it's a really good set of rules actually because it can encompass so many different genres and TV shows and stuff. And like you say, Judge Dredd would be a perfect one for it. If you've got the figures, you can use it for
Cowboy for Judge Dredd.
Yeah. What a Cowboy seems to be getting used for quite a lot of stuff.
And you can play Xenos Rampant as well with Judge Dredd because it's hit points. So you have a judge with lots more hit points than the perps. It's quite easy.
Excellent. Nice quick questions coming up. David Humphrey on Blue Sky. What's your number one essential terrain tip to make a board look great?
Scatter terrain. Lots of it.
Lots of it. 3,028 figures in one pipe block.
The little pieces for me.
It's just exactly that.
It's the little pieces that make for me that make a game. You can have a whole board and there's a couple of trees on it, and you go, but when you look at some of the games that you go to Partisan, and as you find the little details, you go, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That looks awesome. I don't know if you've seen one recently. It's been posted up a lot, and it was it's, I don't know if it's Italian Wars or whatever, but it's just a piece, but it's a Burgundian tent, and the guy's setting it on fire.
Oh, right.
But it's like this diorama he's done, and it would just look so awesome. But basically, they've like the guys have looted the tent, and one of the guys is just leaving, and he's turned behind, and he's setting the tent on fire. And it looks, I'll try and send it on. It's absolutely awesome. But it's just those little pieces, like the 7 Years War game. It was at Partisan there. Like there was so much on that you probably couldn't even see it all, and then when you get home you look at pictures and go, oh, I missed that. And it was like, it was like the guys carrying the carriage clock and putting it on the back of the wagon and stuff and all that, and you're like, it's those little pieces for me, just little bits of terrain or whatever, whether it's wells or, like, for my French Indian War stuff, I've got like a tree stump with an axe and like logs and all that next to it, and even things like little beavers and river. That's the kind of stuff I love. And there's the boys that used to do the Iron Brigade games.
Up here. Yeah.
Some of the games that they used to have like loads of cool stuff for kids, and it would be like, right, go and count how many chickens are on the table, and they have to go around the table. And they did years ago. They did this First World War game. I know it's not necessarily terrain, but they had like this, like a courtyard, a French farm, and in there was like a captured soldier, and basically put in front of like British officers to try and maybe get information out of him. But when you actually looked close, and they kind of said, look at the wee guy, who is he? And it was like questions they had for kids. And when you actually looked closely at the captured German soldier, it was Hitler. It wasn't like the Hitler that we see, but it was. He just had the little moustache. He was in his First World War uniform and he'd been captured. And you're like, oh, that's what it was like to the kids. Who is it? And they're like, oh, it's Hitler.
Brilliant.
Because the game's a game. The game will go on around, but the little bits that draw your eyes in are the bits that you go, oh, I remember that.
Exactly that. Yeah, just small. Like I say, just small bits of scatter terrain all over the place. Just fill it up with stuff.
When you go to a show, you're not 9 times out of 10. You're not taking part in the game, so you're not taking in every single turn that's happening or being involved in what the outcome or the wonderful memories that you've got of a charge and whatever the outcome of that was. You might see it, but you don't necessarily take that in. So these bits that when you're watching a game are the bits that I draw my eyes to, and they're the bits I take home and go, that's what I need to do to improve my games.
Maybe I've lost that now, because people used to look through my units and go, is that a Bradford City top? And now they're going to go, you've got a fucking entire unit, Bradford City. Bradford City flags. And that flag's too big. An interesting one from the Obfuscated Hero. What is the best follically challenged army? Were there any bald armies that you can think of?
No.
The Koreans used to shave. I'm thinking like samurai. Somebody
probably
shaved.
Probably something in the ancient period, isn't there?
Well, you've got some of the Irish cairns shaved parts of their hair. Maybe what was the
Normans? They had a
the Normans,
particular,
but you don't see it under their helmets.
No, but you know it's there.
Cossacks would have just like the simple little bit of hair at the front and stuff.
That might be one for the audience. That, if you know of any follically challenged armies, please get in touch. Frederick on Blue Sky: mushy peas on a wet pallet or avocado on an old bit of MDF? Mushy peas. I can't fucking eat avocado.
I'd have the avocado.
I like avocado as well.
Yeah, I prefer avocado. I hate mushy peas.
Bit of sourdough bread, some avocado, black pudding, chili oil.
You're really upsetting Ken. Really upsetting him.
You see. Then what's the point of having avocado? You could have lumpy cardboard, and with all that shit on, it tastes nice.
Yeah, but you could say that
Avocado
about.
tastes quite nice, but
You could say that's about mushy peas.
Yeah.
What's the point in having mushy peas?
covering them in
What's the point?
vinegar, brown sauce.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. What's the point in
ooh.
peas in general? I hate them.
I like
It's
mushy
not-
peas too. So
I hate them.
Is it mushy? Peas are the only source of greenery that I get.
that's like my dad. Yeah. I remember my dad farted once and I told him he needed to get salad in him. And he says, only thing I eat is green beans and peas.
Oh, dear. Right. Oh, dear me. Maraviga. How much base is too much base?
It's all about the base, isn't it?
It's all about the base.
All about the
I like to have models cover equal amounts of ground, but what if they don't cover the base? Make the base smaller.
What,
I don't like. I'm not.
Read
I
that,
don't
read that
like-
again. I didn't understand that.
How much base is too much?
Yeah, I got that bit.
I like to have models cover equal amounts of ground, but what do you do if they don't cover the base?
They don't cover. So the base is bigger than the models.
Yeah, so I think your base sizing is wrong. Because I think the only time
Or
that happens is when
Put
you
more
base people.
models on.
It kind of
Yeah.
goes back to your kind of question, tightly compact bases or spread
Yeah.
out. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
I think the formation of the unit should determine how it looks on a table. If they're
Mhm.
stood shoulder to shoulder, then your guys should be shoulder to shoulder on the base.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Fred Mills, Blue Sky. What is the
Just put
right
them on a
balance?
Sabo base.
You've got multiple options.
What? Inside bin or outside bin? What is the right balance between figure scale and ground scale, and how the table looks, and what compromises can you make?
Well,
Playability.
Playability. But the bigger the game, the more you can abstract things. With Blucher, for example, I'd play in 6mm, but the towns and the cities are in 2mm because they go on a 6-inch square, which is basically that would be one building in 6mm, or it's a town in 2mm. So you can make it look right for the scale of the game instead of having just like one single big building, on a 6-inch square. Chain of command, the footprint of the house is the footprint of the house because I play it in 15mm. It completely depends.
No, I kind of get that, and sometimes ground scale is compromised for the size of available.
Mm-hmm.
If I played my Narvik game to true ground scale, I think it would be 700 foot long or something like that. No.
You have to telescope or microscope things, don't you, depending on how you're playing.
In the room that you've got.
Yeah.
Same person, different question. Should rules provide a stepped introduction to an era or subject that gets players engaged and learning as quickly as possible?
For me, yes. It depends. It's one of these things that...
Does a World War II set need a World War II introduction?
Yeah.
I think the army might.
Yes. Yeah, individual armies and lists. Yeah, you need like a few paragraphs. But do you need an 8-page history of the first, second World War?
Forever. You'd be there forever.
Yes. But you might need it for a more obscure.
It's useful. It's useful if you don't know the period, so I don't have a problem with them. So if I bought the new Italian Wars book by that company, which I'm unlikely to do, then I wouldn't read that history bit at the front.
Yeah.
But I've
Why
just
you love a moan?
Yeah, that's wrong. Because I'm a war gamer that's read a book. So apparently I don't.
No, Charles is
know
a
anything
friend,
about
so
the
don't be
Italian
moaning.
ones. Yeah, no, he'll be fine. But I wouldn't read that, no matter who'd written it, because I'd like to think I know.
You know enough about
the
it
Italian
anyway.
was. Whereas the book that I've just got from Simon Miller on the Italian, not the Italian, fucking everything's Italian, the Irish, the battles in Ireland in the British Civil Wars or the Wars of the Three Kingdoms. I'm reading the start of that because, I know a bit.
But it's fleshing out a bit more for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt because it helps people get into the period. I mean, again, it's not like the 1980s where you'd get an A4 book that was stapled together, A5 book, sorry, stapled together with, literally just the rules in it and nothing else. I think, some background helps, but it depends on the war and it depends on the specifics. Like you saying, I think, an introduction to the armies, just a paragraph, just to say, at this point, these were doing this is how they fought, kind of thing.
I do it for my Reavers game. I give an introduction as to why they are. But then I do a further reading section, which basically recommends. It says these are some of the books that I would maybe recommend for the period.
Yeah, bibliographies are always useful.
Although there was a bit in this book, and I'm going to talk about it in my review, where the kind of talking about the fractured nature of Ireland and the politics and how different regions would have their own standing armies, etc. And then it comes up with for me, the absolutely unbelievable statement of until Cromwell united the country. You mean by fucking killing everyone who didn't agree with him?
Arguably,
Jesus Christ.
He did.
If you walked into a pub in Sligo or one of the areas where he fucking killed everyone, and with that and said it, you'd be dead in 10 seconds.
Yeah, you wouldn't be leaving that pub, would you?
You just cannot say that. It's just... I know some revisionist historians are trying to put Cromwell as the good guy, and there was just that many people killed in wars anyway, and he's a fucking murderer.
Is it not a fact that there was elements of his leniency in certain terms? For certain,
he only cut 3 limbs off instead of 4.
No, well, there was always, and I think it does go back to that context. A lot of people will look at history in a certain way and go, well, and it happened a lot, and basically surrender, give us a town, or if we're having to come over the wall, we're not going to be so favourable once we get in there. And I think that was a lot of the things. But yeah, I don't think he ever united the country. Same way he never united it in Scotland either.
I think if you
maybe it's a bit of a stretch.
If you had a portrait of Cromwell and you were anywhere in Ireland, you could very quickly find somebody to set it on fire. If they don't also set you on fire as well.
Yeah.
But I'll cover that.
He forced marched the Scots into England, and many of them died on the route.
Not a nice man. Not a nice man.
Not a nice man at all.
Richard Scott, Facebook. 28 mil is not king. Richard, you're wrong.
Richard, you're right.
Ian?
Was it a question or is it just a statement?
He made a statement, and I'm saying you're wrong.
My hobby's 28. Richard's hobby's 15, or whatever other scale. It doesn't impact me.
Yes,
he has his own hobby. Yeah, right. So Kelly, we're wrecking through these questions quite quickly, actually. Kelly led Adventure Forum put 3 or 4 on. First one, don't really understand it. What is too low versus what is too high? Dwarves are too low, elves are too high.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Are they talking like scale in, what skirmish versus big battle?
Skirmish is too low, big battle is not high enough.
Yeah, there you go.
27 mil is too low, 29 mil is too high.
Is that to the eye or to the head?
It's over the head. There's your answers. The answers are as confusing as the question.
Yeah, this one. What's the best way to reconcile 2 or more armies that are built and based on different figure ratios? Buy more figures.
Yeah, buy more figures. Rebase them, which is not something Ken would do. Think about it before you start.
Good point. Well made.
Because you've obviously already got one set based before you started on the second one. So either base the second one the same as the first one.
Yeah. So plan before you start, I think, is so don't go off and do a 40-minute video on 3 War Games magazines without scripting it and just getting really angry with stuff. Just don't do that. What is the main benefit of using a higher figure ratio?
Having to buy fewer figures.
time, money,
Time,
fewer
yeah.
figures, yeah. But I don't like the look of it, so I don't.
Mm. Yeah,
There
it's
we go.
whatever your hobby is, isn't it? Again.
Model Warrior. What effect is AI going to have on the humble wargamer?
That's a very good question, because I reckon it's probably not going to be very long before we start to see AI rules.
Ooh.
You can already get them. You can go
Yes.
on, you can go on there and tell it to write a set of rules, and it will.
Yeah. I know people are doing it, but I mean published ones rather than just look at what I've done on ChatGPT. Also, there was with that pillage game from
I was going to
Victrix.
say,
There's been a lot of controversy, hasn't there, recently? Apparently,
Yeah.
the artworks. A lot of people are saying it's AI, but they've denied those rumors and they said it is actually painted by somebody. But
I wonder if it's this same guy who does the WI covers then.
because people
I
were
just
saying
don't
they
think
AI
it.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to the guy. He's trying to earn a living as a digital artist, but I just think it looks too much like AI. Because I've been messing around with AI, and it's where the Christmas tune that I've already done. It's where it came from. Not all of it, because what I did was I said write a Christmas song in the format of the Yorkshire Gamer, and although 50% of it was utter shite, it did give me the bones for it.
Yeah.
And there's a guy, a musician that I'm really into called Stephen Wilson, who's like a multi-instrumentalist, and he does like progressive rock and stuff. And just for a laugh, last year he went onto AI and said, "Write me a Christmas song in the style of Stephen Wilson."
Right.
And it did exactly the same. It produced this song for him where he said 56% of it was utter shite. But the basics were there and he could work on it. And that's what I've done with the Christmas song for this year.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
is
this
why
is the
I've
thing,
already
isn't it? I
done it.
mean, we're still at a very early stage of AI and where it's going to go in the next few years. It's still churning out shit, but it will, as it learns.
I don't know. Do you know Sean Watson, Red Z?
Yes, yeah.
Follow him, right? So he's been doing like
Yes, I've
AI
seen that.
versions. His miniatures. He's been putting them into AI and asking them to make it into illustrations. So I did the same with some of my Border Reavers. I wanted to see what it did, and it just wasn't getting it right. It wasn't getting it exactly the way that it was. And some of the stuff that it does is like it's absolutely bizarre. It was coming up with crazy swords and crazy positions that they were getting held, and you keep telling it to change this piece, change that bit, and it will do it. It will go away and it will change it. So I just wanted to see what it could come up with in terms of these illustrations, but I wasn't overly happy with what it produced. So I started getting quite nippy with it. and ultimately telling AI it was stupid, and then I just started to worry that I was getting put on like a list that was going to be my name was going to be on when the Rise of the Machines come, and they start culling us all off because I've told AI that it's stupid and can't get a sword outright.
Well, I did hear an interesting fact, and this is that massive amounts of computer power is being lost throughout the world by people asking AI. Well, not asking them, but by saying please at the end of all the questions. It's like it's a fucking machine. It doesn't care. But what I did do is I asked AI to produce a picture of Michael Wood looking like the Messiah, and it just gave me a picture of Michael Wood.
There you go. Perfect, eh? Perfect.
What can I say? Well, God, we're gonna do all of them. We've only got a couple of pages left. We'll crack through. Elbows.
A couple of pages.
Fucking big writing.
All right.
Big writing. Elbows. Lead Adventure Forum. What dream era genre conflict you don't think you'd be able to bring to life on the table?
What wouldn't you be able to?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything. I don't think there's anything out of bounds anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I did see recently, and going back to the Star Wars thing, I don't know whether you've seen them, LED noodles.
Nope.
Nope. It's like a strip about that long, or you can get them in different sizes, and it's
Just
effectively,
lightsabers.
effectively a continuous thing. And what this person had done is they'd set this scene up with Star Wars figures, and they'd literally got like fishing wire going across it with these noodles on, and then when you dim the lights and press the
it looks like laser
electricity,
blasts.
it looks like laser blasts, and it looked brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I've got some. Just bought some. They're not expensive.
Yeah.
Don't know what I'm going to do with them. Stick them up my nose.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. But no, I don't think there's anything out of bounds anymore.
No.
Figures are all there. If you want,
yeah,
if you look,
for
you
the
can
most
find
for the
figures
most
for
part,
anything.
you pretty much everything is covered, if not 3D printed.
Yeah, your imagination is your limit.
Yes.
Is there an era genre conflict you inexplicably can't fucking say it, dislike or can't be bothered with? Chicken jousting.
Weird War 1.
Trench Crusade, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Ian.
And
that can't be bothered. Medievals.
Yeah, medievals. Is that because it's just smashing people over the head with big sticks?
Pretty much.
I'm not particularly interested in moderns either, because it's just too close.
Yes.
In a time period, it's just because it's too much. Apart from playing the Mexican drug war with my pal the other day, but again, that's because it was his game. So but it's not something that I would do.
These are going to be quick, I think. Where do you lean on the spectrum of fun versus simulation?
A bit of column A, bit of column B.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere
You
in
have
the
to
middle.
have both, because there's some things that just,
Both.
if you were to replicate some battles, it just wouldn't be fun. So what's the point?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I war game because I'm interested in military history.
Yeah,
if I want to play a game, I'd play a board game because board games are designed to, be a game. A war game, I'm more into the simulation bits of it, but they can also be fun as well.
Yeah,
that's the point, isn't it?
Yeah, and that goes on to talk about how much chaos and chance you like in games, and we spoke about that many times before. So, next question from Elbows. What fucking hell, Ian? Me and you will go down a pub for a pint. What genre / tropes are you tired of? What's been beaten to death by pop culture?
Well, pretty much everything in the First World War. Where do we start? People walking into machine gun fire in the First World War. Just absolute ignorance of tactical development during the First World War within most war games rules. I say most, not all, but most. They're some of the worst ones. The fact that people still say today you can't play the First World War as a war game.
Yeah,
absolute nonsense. They're mine. I'll stop there because I've covered this so many times.
Yeah. And again, the whole reason why I started this podcast was people going, you can't play that in 28mm. Oh, you can't do that on that size of a table. Oh, it was in WSS a couple of months ago, and I avoided that in the review. There was a guy who'd done a thing, and you can't play this in 28mm. Why the fuck not?
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, like I said, the only thing that stops you is your own imagination, isn't it?
Exactly. And when people talk about space, me and the lads in back home, we'd chuck a $5 in each. We'd hire a church hall, and we'd play on a massive table in a church hall. Anyone can do it, any scale. There's no boundaries.
Absolutely.
At all. Any boundaries are up here.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
to add to that, Ian, or are you
bearded Jacobites, Ian?
Yeah, that's one of them. Or they're just
one of the many.
Highland rabble. Yeah.
Highland rabble. Right. Straightforward. If you had to pick one scale of miniature for all your game in the future, what would it be? 28.
I'm going to surprise you, and I'm going to say if I had infinite money, infinite time, infinite resources, I probably would do 28mm because it does look so nice.
Excellent.
But because I've got my own body weight in 15mm, there's just literally no point changing it now.
Awesome.
I've always toyed with. I've got some of the figures. I've got some the old Jim Bone sculpts, but it was the 40mm Napoleonics for like sharp practice.
Yeah, they'd be nice.
Yeah, somebody's just put some 40mm stuff up recently. I can't remember what period it was, but it did look very nice, I have to say. I've not gone down that line yet.
And I don't know if you ever seen some of the guys that game with like the John Jenkins designs figures, and they're like pre-painted 60mm figures, I think they are, but they're like 95 quid a figure.
My God!
And you get guys that will game with them, and they've got loads of them, and you're like, that's literally thousands. I've seen guys game like French Indian War and everything with them. You're like,
yeah,
Jesus.
Somebody did a huge game in America in First Day at Gettysburg in 54mm, and that was over like 5 or 6 24-foot tables.
Bloody hell!
One after the other. It looks amazing.
I bet it did. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Ian Fraser, Facebook. Have you or would you sell your old armies that you haven't got on the table for some time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm doing it right now. I'm in the middle of doing it.
Oh, he's doing it.
Storm of Steel Wargaming on eBay.
Here we go. Oh, still the plug for Storm of Steel. Bloody eBay.
This is going to be the next complaint. People were complaining that the magazines were just trying to sell themselves. Oh, Yarkshire Gamers just trying to sell me something.
I'm not.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. I was trying to sell everyone factions in the World Cup, and look how that went.
Subliminal.
I've sold plenty of things off in the past. Well, I've no use it.
Last page, lads, and there's only 3 questions. John Sowerby on Facebook. Given Firelock Games' penchant for using blood and as their name for their rules, what do you feel should be their next rule set, and what should it be called? I'm straight away blood and edible knickers.
Not something I would probably want to combine.
Is that not going to sell?
Is that flavour? Is that the new flavour?
Must be that time of the month, I guess.
I don't know.
You're the one that opened the door to it.
Yes, you started.
So I didn't. John did. He asked the question.
I don't know, because
I don't
have no interest in any of the games.
Blood and Plunder,
I'm
aware of.
I'm not a big fan of it. They've done a First World War one.
They did,
Napoleonics.
I did a review of that.
Late 19th century one, but I'm not a big fan of the game.
No.
They've got big fans of the game, though.
Yeah.
Did you see it features in South Park?
Did it?
Really?
Yeah, because the boys that invented the game are friends with the writers, and there's this part of there's an episode of South Park, and the kids are playing Blood and Plunder.
Wow,
amazing!
Because I think it's Trey Parker and the other boy's name. The two of them
Matt Stone, isn't it? Or something
Matt Stone and Trey Parker. The two of them are like big gamers.
Okay.
They're friends with the boys at Rock Blood and Plunder, and there's an episode the kids are playing Blood and Plunder on the table. So, has there ever been a war game that's had that much exposure? That's crazy.
Yeah.
On that level, anyway. Unless it's somebody like Peter Cushing with some of his games and stuff, but yeah, I don't think it's anything like that.
Blood, yeah. Brilliant. I haven't gone with Blood and Edible Knickers. I don't think we can beat that.
You shocked us into you smashed into some silence there. I think ruined it for everybody.
Has anyone? This is from Tylon again. Second to last question. Has anyone been able to recreate Hannibal's tactics at the Battle of Cannae in any miniature tabletop game, regardless of the battle period being played? Sure they might have.
I'm sure they have. I mean, the problem is if you play Cannae, you know what's coming, so you don't do it. If you're the Romans attacking. But what you do is you play Cannae, but you do it in a different period with different figures, so they're not expecting it.
Yeah, but I know people who've played Napoleonics and it's Gettysburg, and they've played ACW and it's Waterloo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people twig it fairly quickly.
Yes, yeah, especially for the famous battles. It's like, well,
yeah. So quite an easy one. And then the final question, Andy, Dr. Beard, have there been any particular games or rules which you really look forward to playing but were let down? Soldiers of God. Really look forward to that, and I don't know whether, still don't know to this day whether we played it wrong, but it just didn't. There was just stuff not doing anything, which I get friction, but I've said on the show before, you've got Templar Knights against, I can't remember the name of the crazy people on the Arab side. Against each other, and because the cards didn't come out, they never fought. You could have put, two of them in a room with no limbs, and they would have eaten each other. Absolutely rabid hatred of each other. So, yeah, that was a big letdown for me. I was quite looking forward to playing those because we were looking for a set of Crusades rules. Because Deus Vult are really good and really specific, but they've just got some weird mechanisms in that didn't quite sit with us. We're gonna go back to it and try it again.
I can't think of any that I bought that. Yeah, I've been disappointed when we got them on the table.
Saga. That was probably my main one.
Saga for you, yeah. Yeah, because usually, I mean, I'd probably try something out at the club without buying it, first of all, if anybody's got it. So you kind of already know. It's like, well, I'm not going to buy that then.
Yeah.
And I know what I like as well. That's the thing, you know what I mean? I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I like Too Fat Lardy's stuff. So I generally know that their stuff is going to be my taste. So I may as well just buy the stuff that they produce because I will most likely like it. Whereas, if you go off piste and you start looking at all these other bits and pieces, you're going to find stuff that you're probably just not interested in. So why spend your money on it in the first place? I think. I guess that's my thoughts on it.
I think it's a lot easier these days to avoid stuff like this because there's a lot more reviews.
I was going to say, you can just read a review on something.
20 years ago, you'd be relying on a review in a magazine if it came up, whereas now you've got a load of people doing different reviews on.
There's blogs, YouTube,
So,
podcasts, everything, isn't there? So you can see a game being played or whatever. Yeah.
Any games you've been press ganged into playing that presently surprised you? I can't think of anything myself either. Maybe I should try more games.
Again, it's the same kind of thing. I think again, you got that. You kind of know what the game is going to be about before you play it.
And that force on force that you played this week. Yeah, it's not something you'd normally do, is it?
No, it's it's outside of my comfort zone, and it's not something I would have explored. But I kind of knew about Force on Force because, again, it was such a popular game, and it's very much in demand. And people like it a lot, and there's quite a few videos about it again, and reviews and things. So I kind of knew what I was going into. It didn't. I don't think it surprised me. I didn't think, oh, this is amazing. I've got to get this back on the table, kind of thing. I thought, yeah, this is okay. I enjoyed that. But it's not something that I would feel as though I need to dive any deeper into. Yeah. So, enjoying it and being surprised by it are two different things, I guess, aren't they?
Is that when you came over and Dice Dad Andy came over as well and we played O Group, I really enjoyed that game. But I wasn't surprised because I'd played Dave Brown's rules before and I was thinking, I like that mechanism. Or I recognise this from something. Yeah. So it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
Maybe we need something to jump out of the rule book and go, surprise.
Maybe.
It's one of those things you can't really answer it if something unexpected's happened. Maybe somebody's not turned up at a club day or something and you've had to go, do you want to play this game? And that it doesn't always happen. So I don't really have an answer for it.
And the final question for the evening. Most importantly, Andy would like to know which faction you will be running in the Trench Crusade. Andy, I love you. I love you, but fuck off.
Is that for Ian, is it?
That is.
Because I'm not answering it.
I don't know anything about. I
Papal,
saw.
you'll be going to Papal States.
Oh yeah, the Papal States Army. We talked about that last time, didn't we?
I'll be doing the painful state.
No, yeah. And I saw a picture of an armored knight charging across no man's land. That's just not going to work.
I don't know.
So again, I go back to my friend Carl. He's right into this Trench Crusade, and he was trying to correct me, and he says none of you have actually read the background on this, and I was like, okay, I wasn't really that interested, but supposedly we're wrong.
Right.
Wrong.
Okay. Yeah.
It's set in a World War I period, but time has been reset or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Do you know that?" And I was like, "Not interested."
I did know that. Yeah. Unfortunately, I did know that.
It's a bit like what they did with it was Star Trek, wasn't it? Where they were reinventing the timeline, which is just fucking lazy. We can't work out what to do next with the storyline that we originally had, so we'll make it all up again.
How do we get out of the hole we've drug ourselves into? Let's just reinvent it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think we haven't pissed that many people off tonight.
I should hope not.
I think we've done quite well. Actually.
Me and Alex haven't.
Yeah, definitely not.
I don't think I have. I'll listen back to it and fucking matey boy will complain but he complains about everything that I do. So it's like water running past. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think we've been very reasonable. We've answered all the questions. I think Blood and Edible Knickers will be out very soon on PDF.
My God. Yeah. Are you going to buy the physical version?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I don't know where that came from, but it's there. So chaps, if you'd just like to say good night to everyone before we get ourselves into trouble.
Good night to everyone.
Good night from me.
Good night, everyone, and I'll see you soon.
And I'm sorry.
There we go. Another Brews in the Binyard episode is done. I hope you enjoyed that. It was a good laugh as always, working with Alex and Ian. We will be back at Christmas time with the promised Christmas song as always. The next episode is going to be a tribute to Charlie Wesencraft. Charlie passed away, bless him, age 97 earlier this year, and I wanted to kind of show my respects to someone who is or was a giant of our hobby. And I've got a few guests coming on board to celebrate Charlie's life and his Practical Wargaming book, which changed the lives of many of those who are listening to this show today. And I'm going to be joined by Robbie Roddis, who did the Peter Gilder episode. He has interviewed Charlie in the past, and he comes from the same sort of area of the world, South Shields. So I'm looking forward to meeting up again and chatting with Robbie about that. He's a very entertaining chap, so look forward to that. And then there'll be a couple of special guests coming on as well, just chatting about Charlie and their interaction with him. If anybody's got anything that they'd like to say, if they'd like to leave a message for me to insert into the episode, I'm more than happy to do that. Just send me a minute or so message recorded on your phone. Just send it to me at yarkshiregamer at gmail.com. And I'll happily slot it in the same way I do at Christmas. If not, no worries. We'll manage to get an episode done between us, but that offer's there if anyone wants to leave a message on what is a memorial to a talking memorial, if you like, to Charlie Wesencraft. So I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time for that episode. Enjoy your wargaming in the meantime, and Siddy.